Oh, we're in the Bat Cave over here. Do you like my Bat Cave background?
Yeah, I am also in the Batcave, as you can see.
More like the Fat Cave, am I right?
Hey,
Get those wonderful toys.
Hello, Cape Crusaders, and welcome to another edition of Batman, the animated series podcast. I'm your host, Alex Robson, and with me, as always, is my brother, comic book artist and writer, and the guy who sucked on so many rubber toys he should start an OnlyFans. It's Mr. Will Robson. Say hello, Will.
I guarantee there's someone making money out there doing that, right? There
Do
must
we
be.
do we want to explain for any new listeners what I mean by that before people like sucked on rubber toys?
As a child, any toy that was like a proper good piece of rubber, I had to stick in my mouth and suck. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we weren't breastfed as kids. We were is it reared? Is that the word, or is that for like a goat or something?
I don't know.
What's the word when they're on the bottle
I
for a
think it's
baby?
just a. I think it's just on the bottle.
Anyway,
Formula.
I was
Formula.
reared
Is it
reared as a
formula?
child. I was reared red raw as a child.
I thought it was
Um,
formula.
so maybe I just had like a need for the rubberness. So old toys like the best one I can think of is the Venom Spider-Man the animated series toy, and it was a rubber head that you put on Venom, except I sucked it so hard that the paint that was the white of his eyes and like his teeth and it had gone. It was just black rubber. So I have ingested paint, and I think it's maybe a better person for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, bud. I got a few surprises for you today as far as rubber items that
I
I've
don't want
forgotten
a rubber
about.
surprise from you, mate. We're brothers.
I'll tell you what. I think there's one item that you sucked on just as much as the Venom mask that I can't wait to go to, and it also is a sort of mask helmety thing.
Well, my mouth is watering in anticipation for all the delicious rubber you're about to show me.
Well, speaking of mouth watering, I'm just going to pour myself a tea.
A tea?
That's the
Yeah. Yes. I'm drinking iced tea on the rocks.
Yes, and I'm going to have a hot tea that I'm just pouring. That was
You
nothing.
drink hot tea from a can. Wow.
Yes, that's I do indeed.
But besides the delicious tea that I'm drinking, I'm also having a big fat bit of pussy. Oh,
No, this isn't a sponsorship. This is on
I
YouTube.
love pussy, as my wife can attest. She's totally fine with me going out and drinking someone else's pussy. I get pussy all over all over East Croydon. I mean, that's not where I live.
That's
Uh,
all.
it was wrong anyway, so that's
Is
fine.
that where you're moonlighting?
Yeah, I moonlight in East Croydon. I only get my pussy from East Croydon, so
By the way, Merry Christmas, everybody! Look, got a little Christmas mug.
yeah, very cute. Yes, Merry Christmas. Ready? Christmas time, Killer Croc and wine, Two-Face Joker, Selena Kyle. That's all I've got.
I liked it. Okay. All right. As always, we talk about the art life first at the top of this episode before we dive into the toys. That's why we got the toys up. We're going to be reviewing and ranking Batman the Animated Series toys. But first, how's the art life going?
Going good. Still working at Marvel, drawing Doctor Doom, the comic that I'm on. And, shout out to Marvel. They're treating me so well right now. Like, for instance, here's a huge thing that they did for me recently. I messaged them yesterday being like, hey, I'm going to finish a batch of pages next week. Are you guys going to be around the offices for me to get paid on time? Otherwise, I might not get paid until the new year, even though I'm owed pages. And the assistant editor came back to me and said, don't worry, Will, we've already thought of that. And that's why you're getting paid early next week. I was like, my God, what is this
Ooh.
wonderful world that I'm in right now? Because if anybody knows,
Marvelous World?
hey, it's a marvelous world. Yes. So shout out to Marvel, because not every comic book company out there gives a shit about paying you on time. So I'm very appreciative of the way they're treating me there. And I'm having a great time. But besides that, I've been working on Outbreaks, which is my own comic book. And if you want to check that out, you can go to speechcomics.com, where you can read one of the stories for absolutely free. I'm currently working on issue 2, which was successfully funded back in September. You guys came out in a big old storm and we got overfunded. So I'm just having fun putting that book together. The main cover artist for issue 3 is currently working on the cover right now. And I'm not going to say who it is because I do not want it to suddenly be like, it's this guy. Oh, wait, he dropped out and fuck's sake, it's over.
Well, you did release a tease because you've done an ode cover.
Yes, I'm doing a homage cover for issue 3 that is an homage cover to Tony Moore's The Walking Dead #1. So that's just hey, this is an Easter egg of who I may or may not have as the cover artist. I may have just said his name, maybe not. No confirmation.
Quick, say some other names.
There's Charlie Adlard, who did the interiors for a while as well. And I'm also thinking of potentially contacting the colorist of The Walking Dead Deluxe to color that homage cover I'm working on, because I don't know if you know what that is, but it's they've been re-releasing all of The Walking Dead out every single month or twice a month, and it's the same book but just fully colored now, which is really interesting to see, like that whole universe now in color. So I'm thinking
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of reaching out to that colorist to do some work for me, because that would be pretty cool to have the colors of The Walking Dead work with me. So yeah, that's going great. I've started a Patreon because next year I'm going to start releasing more content, because I used to be pretty active on YouTube when I was trying to break in and doing tutorial videos and like showing me going around trying to get my portfolio reviewed from all these companies and stuff. And I built up a good little fan base there. I think I still have like 7,000 subscribers there, something like that. So I want to get back into that because I do enjoy teaching. I really like when artists, aspiring artists, reach out to me and ask for portfolio reviews or help with this, that, and the other. I've got a few people that I talk with a lot. Shout out to Reese Hannigan, who is my first Patreon member, who's an amazing aspiring artist that definitely will work in the industry one day because his work is amazing. So if you'd like to check me out there, I'm sure the link will be in the...
He's also a good peanut butter chocolate as well, if you know what I'm saying.
A good what?
Peanut butter chocolate. Reese? No?
Oh, because of... wow.
Good one. Totally, you were on such a roll. I totally read it. I'm sorry. This tea is going straight to my head.
It looks boiling.
It is.
That carbonated tea. So please, if you're interested in seeing stuff that I'm releasing that I'm not showing the rest of the world on my regular social media, like covers when I finish them. If you're a colorist and you want to color my work, I'm uploading high-res files. So if you want to ink or color my work and then use it in your portfolio to show Marvel and stuff like that, that's all available there. You can use all the brushes that I use to create comic books with, and the pages and all the little actions that I use inside my Clip Studio program. It's all available on my Patreon. So I'm really pushing next year towards going even deeper into independency in the comic book industry. I'm going to do work for Marvel. I'm still going to do work for DC. I love those companies. I love those characters.
I love you.
And I want to stay relevant by working on everyone's favorite superheroes like Batman. I don't know if any of you guys like Batman. But at the same time, my biggest goal in life has always been to create my own stories. So that's what I'm doing next year. We're going to have Outbreaks issue 3 in March, and then Mobster Mash, my limited series, coming in the middle of next summer at some point. Trade paperback for Outbreaks Volume 1 will be later in the year, and then we'll just keep that ball rolling, baby. And I have to announce on this video that we have a new editor-in-chief of Speech Comics, and that is my brother, Alex Robson.
Hey-o. Hello, everybody.
He's done such a good job. We kind of realized, like, I've always had this relationship where I've bounced ideas off my brother, and he always gives great little insights, or he'll come up with little concepts himself that I'll expand upon. I was like, wait a minute, that's exactly what an editor does. Like, I've worked with these people, and we never realized that you actually are an editor, and you're a good editor as well. So that's why you've been promoted to editor-in-chief of Speech Comics. It comes with no pay, only glory. So enjoy the glory and the work.
I'm enjoying all the glory in this, again, tea in my Merry Christmas mug.
And that's it. And that's about it.
You do have one other thing, because we've missed a week because I had Ben come on to review Batman Returns last time. And in that time, you saw an old friend of yours, someone quite famous, on a video chat, didn't you?
Will Robson, who drew Spawn Kills Everyone.
Oh, Will Robson? You're going to love Will? Will, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you out walking the dog?
Yes, I chatted with Tom McFarlane, my absolute art hero, life hero, business hero, sexy guy hero who actually works out. I don't. So yes, it was amazing. And, I'm a pretty chill guy. I've talked with many people I respect that are, quite famous, and I've always been able to chat to them the way I chat to you. But with Tom McFarlane, for some reason, I think it's because he's like my absolute idol. I just turned into a 4-year-old. So if you want to see the uncut footage of me chatting to Tom McFarlane, it is available on my Patreon. But yes, you can watch me go, instead of plugging my zombie book, which has drawings that are homage covers to Tom McFarlane covers, or plugging the podcast that I do with my brother,
especially because he's just released a toy line for Batman the Animated Series over the last few years.
Lots of relevancy, lots of options that could have happened,
which we will be talking about later.
Yeah, but something I could have easily done and would have been very good with the thousands of people that were watching that live stream. Instead, I just went around my house finding Tom McFarlane covers and holding them up to the camera, being like, "You drew this. This is good. I like that, and you drew this." It's the same as in Saturday Night Live, the skits with what's his name, Chris Farley, when he's interviewing super famous people like Paul McCartney and stuff like that. He's like, "Hey, remember when you were like in the Beatles?" Yeah, that was cool. That was me.
Yeah,
and
you're just like,
because
I just bought this
comic.
You're like, I just got this comic of yours, and I just got this comic of yours. He's like, cool, I drew them. Like, what's going on? He even said to you, "What's going on with you?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, I bought your stuff."
Yeah, well, it happens.
Anyway, it happened, and it was great to see, and it was really fun seeing that like giddy smile on your face, and just, I don't know, it's really nice to be able to see you in that like type of mode, because I'm like, I know you're a big fan, and you've also worked with him and how much you admire him, and so you even compared it. It's like you were like, buddy, if you talk to like Dave Matthews on video chat, you'd be the same, and I was like, yeah, I would be.
It's very rare that I am flustered in any scenario in my life, so if you want to see me be a 4-year-old, then go for it. It's fun. And sign up to my Patreon to give me money.
That's right. Go check that out. So other things that I have going on I have a bit of an art life update. Well, it's not really an art life, but it's a podcast update. I went on a podcast called All Star Fandom with hosted by Dion. Shout out to Dion. It was a great time. He brought me on as the Batman the Animated Series expert. Apparently, I'm an expert.
I would say that's right. I mean, you're the expert in Batman the Animated Series in my life, for sure.
True, and maybe other people as well now. So, yeah, everybody go check out All Star Fandom. It's on YouTube, and it's a video podcast where you can check us out having a long conversation about Batman, all about the details, behind the scenes info, and he does a really good job with editing. So, yeah, you can go follow him on socials as well. And also, whilst you're on YouTube, there's a new video review of ours that's out right now. We reviewed Christmas with the Joker, and I've taken that audio because we did that last year, and for Christmas this year I've turned it into a little mini review video, which I quite enjoyed. You just watched that today, didn't you?
Yes, I watched it. Very funny memes that definitely made me laugh, like Stone Cold Steve Austin laughing and stopping, and you comparing me and my wife to the old posh couple on fucking Gogglebox.
Gogglebox. I knew you'd like that. A lot of the memes in this one was for you especially.
Well, I think you should tailor all your editing to try and make me laugh. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, keep you around for longer. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. All right, bud, are you ready to review some toys of Batman the Animated Series? Are you ready to take a deep dive?
Well, I'm salivating at the idea of it.
Batman, Joker's turned up at the Gotham McDonald's.
On my way. Robin, meet me at the Gotham City McDonald's.
Right, Catwoman's been sighted there.
They're ours now.
Just imagine Batman's surprise when he finds out everyone's talking about the Batman Happy Meal toys at McDonald's. One of 8 exciting action toys or vehicles with each Batman Happy Meal you buy your kids. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Why have they been in there so long?
They're probably just toying with us, Robin.
So I've got my notes over here, so I'm going to have to look at my notes because I've got some fun facts for you, bud. Last time we did this on Spider-Man the Animated Series podcast. If you guys want to go check out those episodes, we did a toy review episode where I did the sort of deep dive on the history and how it all came to be and what companies were involved. And then we did a toy review. Today we're doing the same thing, except for we're going to rank them because ranking's just way more fun. So I'm going to start here with these are Kenner action figures we're looking at right now. They're from 1984. This is the Superpowers line. They're 5-inch figures. Do you remember these figures?
I do. The bodies are very, very. Now, did they? So you said this is a Kenner line?
Uh-huh.
Who made the Marvel ones? Was it Kenner as well?
It's Toy Biz.
But even in the 80s, it was Toy Biz?
I'm not sure. I don't know that for sure.
Do you remember like Silver Surfer and Daredevil? Like they had like those bodies like with their arms like that and the puffness. So I'm only bringing it up because I didn't know if they reused the molds or something. I'm
not sure. I think you're probably right, but Toy Biz took over in the 90s. Toy Biz is even going to appear today for Batman the Animated Series at one point. So yeah, let's get into it. Next up, we've got Mego. They had the rights before Kenner took over in the 80s. These produced these 8-inch dolls. I don't remember these.
I mean, I know them only because of Robot Chicken and being used in all their animations.
Yes, that's exactly where that's from, isn't it? Oh, that's awesome.
That's Gen X's childhood superhero toys right there.
Yes, exactly. And like removable gloves and stuff like that. So this was before the 5-inch figures came along. Then we've obviously realizing the success of the 8-inch figure line, they thought of ways to reduce cost. So Mego released smaller plastic lines. So these are the comic action heroes that are smaller plastic line. You've got Batman, Robin, Joker, Penguin. So these all and Spider-Man, which I threw that in there because it was part of that pack. It was all DC, and then it was just Spider-Man thrown in there with like a red jumper on. It looks like he's trying to wear a gilet at Christmas or something.
He looks like Day One Spider-Man, where he's just like chucked together a costume out of sweat shirt and stuff like that.
3 minutes of playtime.
Now, why are their hands turned a little bit like in a I'm about to have a wank position?
I was wondering if you were going to notice that. It does look like they're all about to, enjoy themselves on a rooftop a bit too much.
Yeah.
I don't know, but this created the minifigure craze that everyone went after. And then obviously that went into Star Wars. Mego then went on to do the Star Wars line. So, oh no, Mego didn't. Sorry, apologies.
Kenner.
Kenner. Yeah, what happened here is that Mego didn't capitalize as much as they should have on these minifigures. They kept up with the dolls, and Mego actually passed on Star Wars. And
can you blame them? It was a sci-fi little movie. You didn't know it was.
I guess so. Yeah, but Mego is the one that passed. Kenner came in, swept it all up, and that's when Kenner was just like dominating the market. So we've got like these Kenner toys. This 1984. We've got Kenner action figures from the Batmobile. We've got like Batcopter,
That's cool.
They made all. Isn't that cool? So we had this, buddy.
Did we?
We did indeed. We had this Batcopter. If anybody's listening to this, it's an old Batcopter that you could take off the legs. I remember that how
the legs are bringing me nostalgia. You're right.
Because what I would do with this is I would take off the legs and I would take off the copter blades and I would turn it into a sub.
Now, are you sure that, because I know that Batman 89 reused a lot of old molds. Are you sure we didn't just have the Batman 89 version of this copter?
You're right. It was all black.
Different colored. Yeah.
It was all black. You're absolutely right. And that's exactly what happened, because what we're going to get into now is here's a figure.
Yeah.
You recognize this bad boy? So this is Kenner's.
I remember chewing on the little plastic that would hold the cape and breaking all of them.
So this is Kenner's classic Batman figure. This is like straight out of Neil Adams type art style of Batman. This is recognizable because then it went on to be Batman 89's mold as well. So yes. Kenner went on to obviously produce all of these Batman 89 and Batman Returns figures. However, before that happened, Kenner was not the original toy company that actually took over for Batman 89. Kenner passed on this and Toy Biz was the one who got the Batman 89 line. So smaller picture, but you've got like a bat bike here, you got a bat cycle, you got the Joker cycle here with like an exploding head, and the figures are different. These are the figures that you probably remember.
Yeah.
This is the Toy Biz. This is the one with the belt that comes out on the wire. You've got Bob the Goon and you got Joker, and they are different figures than if I go back than the Kenner line. Like look at how Kenner's pose, and then look at the arm there. They're different.
They are different. I remember I broke Batman's belt, and it was the week that you got Batman, and you were furious at me because the belts. I was under the stairs at our grandmother's house, which was a cool place we used to play. This was our dad's mum, and I was under the stairs in the living room, and I like pulled Batman down to shoot up, and he shot up, and it broke off, and since it was on a roll in his stomach, the line just went thump and shot
into
him. So it was completely impossible to fix. And you were so mad at me, and I was like,
do you know what I remember now? Well, you've just unlocked a memory for me. I remember taking his belt and blue tacking it to his waist, so at least he had his belt. Like, even though I couldn't connect it, I blue tacked it to it.
Now, I don't remember having Bob, but we definitely had the Joker toy. I remember having it because that hat is removable, and I used to put that hat on different toys and give it a little suck every now and then.
Well, and also he had the squirtable flower on his waistcoat there. It would you'd be able to squirt it from the back. And in the Batmobile, in the background, it's got no canopy, which is the first Batmobile. I actually still have this Batmobile. You got it for me many Christmases ago, like some sort of bargain hunt thing that you managed to get. And
No,
I still have it.
you got it
in box.
You got it for me for Christmas. I didn't want it. And then years later, when I was moving out of my house, I just gave it back to you and you took it.
Ah, okay. So Toy Biz, they're, as I said, they're the ones that produced this. Later on, when Kenner comes back and they do the Batman 89 line, although they named it something else, and the Batman Returns, they did produce a Batmobile with a canopy. And I can't believe that I missed that, because we had the one without the canopy. And I always was disappointed with that Batmobile because I hated that it was I hated the canopy is the coolest looking part of that Batmobile. I love that it slides down the front. It looks so cool. So Toy Biz went on to produce Spider-Man.
Oh, look at those toys. Where does he get those wonderful toys?
That should have been the tagline at the beginning. Maybe I'll chuck that in there. So yeah, these are the Spider-Man toys. Again, we reviewed this on our other podcast.
I have to be honest, you were very much into Batman the Animated Series toys. I love the Spider-Man toys. Just the colors. I really dig Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery, and just like that to me screams my childhood when I'm looking at it right now, more so than Batman. But that's because you were a little bitch and you would not let me basically play with any like Batman stuff at all. It was just all for you. And probably because the one time I did play with Batman, I broke it. You broke it.
Yeah. I never forgot until recently, I guess, because I don't remember that at all.
Oh, look at that carnage. Oh, you know what's what do you think the number one toy out of all of that is the one that I would want? Because I know what it is.
Kingpin.
Nope. It's Peter Parker with his jacket on.
Peter Parker.
And the what's it called? I know he's got a camera. And then they used to have those little
It's a badge.
Yeah, the little badge things. Yeah. Very cool.
Very cool. So Toy Biz was living it up, to begin with. They had the Batman in the late 80s, early 90s. They were doing Batman. And then their Batman lines did not sell very well. So the rights went back to Kenner. Toy Biz went on to obviously continue to produce Spider-Man the Animated Series and most of the Marvel line in the 90s. So Toy Biz went to Marvel, Kenner went to DC. So this is some of the Toy Biz stuff. It's the reason they failed. This is a Two-Face action figure that Toy Biz made, and he's got the biggest coin ever. It's the size of his head.
It's probably bigger than an actual dime.
Yeah, and apparently that's mainly because you didn't want to, if you made a little one, it would be lost like almost instantly. Yeah. But this Two-Face is like, he looks more like Herbert Landon from Spider-Man the Animated Series, doesn't he? With like the green face.
Well, he looks more
jacket.
He looks a bit more like the one from the comic books. I tell you what is a fun thing though. I'm digging the idea of Harvey Dent being a Democrat wearing blue and then Two-Face being a Republican wearing red. I think that's a really fun idea.
That's really fun. Oh, I like
I'm
that
the
a
only
lot.
one that's gonna bring both parties together because I agree and disagree on both sides.
So now we get into Kenner
Oh
claiming
man,
back
that
the
penguin.
rights for Batman. So this penguin is a reused doll, or sorry, doll? Did I just say doll? I
It's a
meant
doll.
figure. I meant figure. This is a reused figure. They did not have access to what Danny DeVito's penguin actually looked like because it was all hush hush. And I think Kenner was really thankful for that because when kids went to go see Batman Returns, they were so frightened of Danny DeVito's penguin that they probably wouldn't want a toy. So this is from the old superheroes lineup that we were looking at before, this penguin that's just recolored. But we have that Bruce Wayne, that classic Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
where he's in that. You can buy that jumper, by the way. This like the stripy lines with the bat signal on it, and I remember that bat chest plate that you could put on him. The
Why
gloves.
don't you own that jumper?
I don't know. I should, shouldn't I? Or a T-shirt. You can give her a T-shirt. And then obviously they got the Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. So this was the start of Kenner coming back into Batman. Then we've got a Robin here that was for Batman Returns as well. I said this on the last podcast, but I don't know if you've listened to it. You probably haven't listened to the Batman Returns review yet.
No, I haven't.
But do you remember this Robin that you're looking at right now?
Of course I do.
Yeah, with the crew cuts, like the
Mhm.
like the block, almost block hair. So this Robin,
Cool packaging.
very cool packaging. This Robin was along with the Batman Returns lineup. It's got the same bat signal as you can see. This was joined with it. One, because Tim Drake had just premiered in the comics around this time, and the toy companies really liked the design of the Robin suit for Tim Drake, so they patented it and they made a doll. Doll? Why do I keep on saying doll? They made an action figure. They made an action figure out of it, and this action figure was also made because Batman Returns was supposed to feature Robin.
Yeah, and it was what's his name?
Marlon Wayans.
Marlon Wayans, yeah. The stories are old. Everyone knows this stuff.
Well, some people that watch him, maybe they don't. So Marlon Wayans was supposed to be Robin. He even gets residual checks to this day because of Batman Returns, because he was hired, but obviously too clouded for him
Why
to
does
be
he
in
get
it.
residual checks? He didn't have any appearance on screen.
He got paid for it, and he still, because he was paid for it as an actor included in it, he still gets residual checks for it.
Well, that's dumb.
Isn't that crazy? Okay. Moving on then. We're going to get into some Batman the Animated Series
Look at that
lineup
classic
here.
head.
I know. So, shortly after the 1992 premiere of Batman the Animated Series, Kenner produced a line of figures based on the new cartoon. Like the previous two Batman movie lines, the first few lines of figures included several versions of Batman, also included multiple versions of Robin, and new villains including Two-Face, Scarecrow, and others. So look at this. Look at this Robin here.
I don't remember having that Robin.
We did not have that Robin, no. But we had some of these toys here. Do you remember which ones we had?
Yeah. Well, the Two-Face is the one that you won in the art competition, which we've covered. Oh,
Yep.
no, it's the one you gave me because you won an art competition.
And
then
my
our mother
mum
said
insisted.
you had to get me a toy. And you're like, Two-Face is yours.
Yes.
I remember Penguin with his fabric coat.
Mhm.
We definitely had Dick Grayson. We definitely had Batman. We had all of these. Maybe not the Space Batman.
We had the Space Batman as well,
We
which
definitely had that.
we'll look
Riddler.
at later. Yeah, we had the Riddler, we had the Bat Cycle, we had all of these. So yeah, again, there's another look. We had this at the opening. This is just a great look into some of the toys here. And we've got Mask of the Phantasm as well. So as time went by, Kenner's The Animated Series line began losing steam. So they Kenner retooled some of their figures, releasing Batman The Animated Series Crime Squad. This line had several Batman variations, but only included one Robin figure and no villains. So this is like some of the Crime Squad stuff. This Bruce Wayne. Do you remember this Bruce Wayne? His head would pop down
Yep.
into his body, so the Bat helmet.
Quite Power Rangers-y.
Yeah, it is quite Power Rangers-y. So this is the Crime Squad lineup with all the different types of Batmans. Like we'll look at some of these later, not all of them, but some of them. So later, Kenner renamed this line, and there's Joker and Harley
Whoa,
Quinn
I don't
as
remember
well.
a Joker wearing the gray jacket. That's
I
cool.
didn't know that until this came much later, along with Harley Quinn. But I love that. And there's some Duo Force stuff.
No, Robin's cool. I like the green Robin.
So, I'm jumping ahead there.
Oh my god, you got to jump to my favorite toy lines.
So later, Kenner renamed this line Batman and Robin. And this was released for several figures, including Harley Quinn, which is pictured here. And then we got Batman the Animated Series. The Adventures of Batman and Robin line also started to lose steam as well. So Kenner released the Adventures of Batman and Robin Duo Force, which are these ones here.
Just to interject, the mold and sculpt of that Harley Quinn is pretty accurate to the show, isn't it? Go back to it.
Isn't that amazing? That's the first figure of Harley Quinn ever released, and It's actually a really good figure.
It is. Like Joker looks like a toy, but that looks just like Harley Quinn from the show. That's very good.
It's a really good toy. It's pretty good. So this pictured here. So other entertainment lines based that Kenner produced are Batman Forever and Batman Robin. They did both movies. They also did Superman the Animated Series and Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Dude, I want all of those. I loved those toys. As I sent you in messages recently, I have discovered that I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan and didn't even know it.
Yeah, well, you knew you loved it, but not like die hard.
Yeah, I've always loved it, but I think it may be one of my favorite franchises of all time now because I am super excited for the new survival horror Jurassic Park game. I know I'm getting Jurassic Park Lego for Christmas, the Dennis Nedry set in particular. These toys bring me such joy and nostalgia. The truck, I loved that truck from Lost World so much when the way it was roped off and the T-Rex with like the bite that came out of it. And
yes,
we used to hang the truck off of like the side in the basement and like play all of it. And then I used to use like Resident Evil toys, and then like I started making Dino Zombies when I was like a kid, like playing that stuff. I freaking loved it. So I'm just gonna say now, Jurassic Park is currently my favorite franchise.
The electric fences there, they are ringing lots of nostalgia bells for me. That Velociraptor, that like brown with the darker shades of brown stripes, like almost like a tiger shark. I love that so much. I think that looks really good. And the SUV sort of Jurassic Park, like it's not a Jeep, but it's like got that bumper on the front of it that's very recognizable, the camouflage color. We had a lot of this set, and that's why I obviously pictured here.
Loved these toys as kids.
So Kenner also had the rights to produce all 3 Star Wars prequels. Right.
Just a last thing to say about this. We had a lot of these toys, and I think it's probably because our father was a fan of this. Like, our father wasn't into Batman the Animated Series, especially not Spider-Man. He has a weird hate for Spider-Man in general.
Yeah.
Hates him because
we might bring him on the podcast one of these days.
Yeah, but he loves Jurassic Park too. So I feel like that motherfucker in a toy store, because we had the huge truck, and I don't think we got that for a Christmas or anything like that. I think he came home with it one day and was like, "It's the truck from the movie," and we were like running around like ah.
And he like wanted to play with it, but also was happy just watching us. I know what you mean.
Putting those gates together was I just love these toys.
So yeah, Kenner was at their height, right? Batman the Animated Series, Batman Returns. They had this Dark Knight collection. There was a Batman toy we had that was like a really beefy Batman, and he was kind of purple cow, like a very dark purple and a sort of like sea blue. He was like part of the Dark Knight collection. It had like a gray Batmobile that we had that like had a big 2 wings on the back. Kenner was producing like pretty much all the toys on all the franchises, and they got the prequel rights to Star Wars. So they were on Cloud 9. However, as they were on Cloud 9, they were also sought out after, and they got an offer from Hasbro that they couldn't say no to. So Hasbro took over, and Hasbro took all the molds.
Oh my God.
That Kenner had. So Kenner had all the molds to all the DC merchandise, Jurassic Park, etc., and also all the molds that hadn't even come out yet for Star Wars, like the figures pictured here. And they basically, Hasbro became, even bigger overnight because they bought Kenner and they were just like off to the races immediately. Then Hasbro went on to do the new Batman adventures, including the Creeper here, which was a figure. And then obviously we also have the redesigned Riddler.
Well, we did not have that.
We did not have that. I didn't even know it was a toy, and that's why I include it in here. So lots of options with Hasbro taking over, and then we've got Batman Beyond. Do you remember this Batman Beyond toy?
Whoa, my brain explodes. Yes, the
Right?
see-through blue Batman Beyond.
Yes.
Oh man, that is what a shot of nostalgia.
And with like hook wings almost. They're curved at the end with like a little
Yeah.
hook to them.
And
Yes.
we had him, and we had like a Spider-Man 2099 toy, and we used to like have a you used to be
Yes.
Batman Beyond, and I used to be Spidey 2099, and those were the days. Now
Those are the days.
to pay taxes. My brother's balding, and we're both fat. And...
So in 2003, Mattel won the rights to produce Batman and other DC Comics figures from Hasbro.
So these contracts were short then, right?
There was only like a couple years. So Hasbro, in a desperate run to get rid of, to not get rid of, but to sell as much as they can before bringing it over to Mattel, produced all of these like 2-packs that were mainly available at Walmart or like Target, stuff like that.
As a kid, I loved combo pack stuff, like where it was like a few toys like together. I always thought it was super fun, and it was always like a slight variant in the pack that you could only get in the dual pack, which is
like
just
this,
great.
like this Two-Face here.
That Two-Face looks fucking dope. I love it. I remember specifically. Do you remember when Marvel vs. Capcom came out as a game? They did Marvel vs. Capcom toys, and on one side you'd have like Ryu, and on the other side you'd have Captain America, and it was so freaking cool. Oh, the nostalgia! Take me to KB Toys now.
So after quickly releasing animated line faded, Mattel released a new Batman animated line based on Warner Brothers' new animated series. The Batman line of figures also from the Batman cartoon, The Batman. They also did that as well. So Mattel was basically the company that produced all Batman figures and DC Comics figures from 2003 all the way up till 2019, where Mattel then lost the license, and the license was split between McFarlane Toys. So this was also the DC Collectibles line that Mattel did. So I'm jumping the gun here. We got DC Collectibles, which came out in 2015.
You and I started buying
figures.
those.
We did, and I still have some of these. And that's what is kind of like the last run that Mattel did. And then McFarlane took over, along with splitting it with... they produced another one called Spin Master, which is another company. Spin Master announced they would produce the more kid-friendly action figures for the DC line, and McFarlane was going to do the more sort of like tribute figures, the more collectible figures. We've got an amazing Batman here, Robin, Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze. They are based off of the Mattel DC Collectibles line, but they're tweaked and they've got some shadowing and some different shading to them. And also,
I know they won't be based off of it. I've heard Todd talk about it. He creates whole new molds for every figure, and he's talked about how companies are like, what you do that? Because usually people reuse parts of molds because it's expensive. He's like, no, that's the pride and joy of our companies. We go the extra mile. We spend the extra money on these molds because we want to give people as screen accurate stuff as we possibly can. And I think his line looks way better than the other line.
I agree. So if we go back here, we've got some pretty like slick looking figures that you could pose on a like a mantle.
Yeah,
but as far as being able to, like, first of all, there's way more articulation to the McFarlane ones, and I could play with these figures if I wanted to, as well as display them. You know what I mean? Like, they've just had more versatility. And as of only a few days ago, the new wave has been announced, and we've got the blind Batman from Blind as a Bat. We've got Gordon here. And we've got Riddler, who looks awesome. I love that smirk and that like look he's got in his face. We've got the trenchcoat Joker, and also, just like Condiment King, you got to buy all the figures to put together the assembled figure. They've got fucking lockup right now.
That's dope. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Look, you and I have said like we don't have the space or the money for toys, but if we did, I'd have all of this, and I'd have all of them. I'd have one to keep in the box and one to take out and display.
Me too. Yeah. When I become a millionaire, I'm just going to buy them all.
Yeah, when we start having like millions of people listening to Batman the Animated Series podcast, then we can get all these toys and it'll be great.
So that's our history there. There's some more toys here.
Wow.
So these are Mondo figures, right? This is the last thing I wanted to include in the history. Mondo has been releasing these very expensive. What size are they again, Robson? Let me just check. Mondo is producing 1/6 scale figures now that they are superposable and come with a ton of accessories. Figures include Batman, Joker, Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Man-Bat, Phantasm, and a lot more. So these are extremely sought after, and they are so cool. And there's so many great Instagram accounts where people are posting like pictures and images from the episode. And look at that Man-Bat, man. Like, and that's a big Man-Bat. Like, it's
Batman's
huge.
arms do look a little bit small.
They do they do, don't they? But like, what a cool way to be able, because of all the different change of hands and the articulation, you could actually like create so many different scenes from the series. And look at that Phantasm, dude. That is awesome. So these Mondo figures are the ones that I would want the most because they are like the antithesis of Batman the Animated Series. They've just got the Joker figure has like 5 different heads, like 7 or 8 different pairs of hands, and like different props. Same with Batman, all of them. They're amazing. They're really cool. So that's our little history deep dive.
Very cool.
I wanted to.
I would like to see more Jurassic Park figures, please.
Well, we're not rating the Jurassic Park figures. I threw that in there as a sort of like gimme for you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rate Batman the Animated Series toy line. We are not going to do the entire line for one. There are some figures I've left out, mainly figures that are like this type of Batman and this type of Robin and this type of Batman and this type of Robin. I've got some in there because we had them and I wanted to just go down memory lane with you. But for the most part, it's just like the main line and the vehicles. We're also not going to review the new Batman Adventures line. We're going to save that for another day. So I'm going to pop this up here. I'm going to have to go back and forth a little bit because not only do we have the ranking to do, but I want to be able to show you more
a
images.
lot of figures. My God.
It's a shitload of figures.
We're going to have to do a speedier pace.
So, yes, that's for one. I'm going to put you up here. That's a better place for you, I think. All right, so we got our ranking system here that we're going to look at. And we also need to open... So we're going to be looking at these figures in detail in this folder as well. So first up, I obviously have to put the first Batman figure that ever was released for Batman the Animated Series, which is the most authentic one. So we've got Combat Belt Batman is what they called it, which I think is a mouthful. Combat Belt Batman. Combat Belt Batman.
Combat Belt Batman. So
Combat Belt Batman can be seen here. You see him?
Yeah. This is our... Hey, I'm just the straight up Batman with an optional accessory.
Exactly. There's an additional belt, and there's also this sort of like firing grapple that he's got, and like a bat shaped, almost like a boomerang type deal. Mm-hmm. But we've got the same cape that was used for Batman and Batman Returns here, the same exact like mesh cape and cloth cape. We've got the classic grey and black. Obviously, his cape's not blue on the inside. They weren't going to go to that detail, but this is a solid figure, man. This is like,
I remember liking the felt capes because when you used to like make them hit at each other or fly through the air, someone can grab it and spin them. Like it made the playing more fun because it was versatile.
Yes, I think that this should go in S tier automatically because it is the Batman that you know from the show, and for me, I play with this Batman toy more than any other Batman toy. It was just like my go-to Batman toy because it looked just like the Batman from the show.
I look at it and I feel nothing because I was never allowed to play with it. So sure, S tier. S for shitty brother.
Oh no, what have I done? All right, you're going to remember this toy.
I can't review all these toys I never got to play with.
You're going to remember this toy. You're going to remember the Man-Bat, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Man
See,
Bat
I
is
wouldn't even put that Batman in the S tier because this toy is better than that toy.
the Man Bat.
Hell yeah, this was a big, cool toy, and the way it spread its wings and everything. What's the little accessory it comes with?
The little accessory is this hook that you could attach to him, and Batman could then you could like have Batman fly along with him, like in the show.
Yes, that was very cool.
And
Oh, this
also,
is S
he
tier,
had
and it's better than the Batman toy. So move Batman down to A.
no. There's no ranking in the position in the actual top ranks, but there was a button that you could press on the back of Man Bat that made his wings flap as well. If you remember
S tier.
correctly.
It's got everything. The other one is just a Batman with a claw. It's not S tier.
It's the Batman from the show. It's the
So?
classic design. I disagree.
If it
he's
came with
going
like
an S.
a batarang or a bat hook or something, something that was actually cool that Batman uses besides like a giant Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy, like it's lame.
You
Like
make a good point.
the other toy has flapping wings and a rope that you can attach to, which happens in Batman the Animated Series. Your toy that you love, he never has a thing underneath that he holds that shoots a big claw. And it's yellow.
Or a second belt. Okay, he's going in A then, Batman. Okay,
That's right. That's right.
Going in A. You make a good point. Good point. Now, bud,
This is a debate. God damn it!
here's a thing that you would definitely have sucked on, and I know you did because we had this toy and it was made of rubber. We've got Ninja Robin, who had this helmet made of solid rubber that was still squishy.
I don't remember this toy at all.
Well, I'm sure you put that mask, this like, it's almost like it was made to look like a cloth mask. I'm sure you put this cloth mask in your gob because we've got this like cloth mask here that was rubber that was like it's almost like a biker's helmet, but it was supposed to be a ninja covering and a Robin with like a bit of armor and stuff like that. I don't think this is going to rank very high, but I included it because that rubber mask was something that I'm sure went on your tongue a few times. Probably you even like did a little teaser taste.
Maybe I swallowed it. I don't remember it.
Maybe you did.
I like Robin having longer sleeves, so I will put it. What does this list go down to?
D for Dookie.
I'll put it in C.
Put it in C. Ninja Robin.
It might drop as we go, but we'll see.
With a name like Ninja Robin, you'd hope he'd look cooler. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Besides the mask, he's not very cool. Okay, next up is the Scarecrow figure. We had this toy for sure. He had this.
Oh, I remember this toy, and he has like scythe action arm, right?
Yeah, which you can twist at the back here. You can see down here. You can twist. You've got a crow that we used to use a lot. That would like attach to his shoulder.
I used to play that Resident Evil as a kid, and I used to use that as the crows from Resident Evil.
And you could shine a torchlight in the back of his head, and his eyes would glow red.
S tier all the way. So much versatility. Look, I'm all about versatility with a toy, and it comes with like a little cool thing you can use for other games.
Yes.
That's a big thing for me as a kid. I used to buy a toy if they just had an accessory that I could use in another game. Like all our wrestling toys were awesome because we suddenly had chairs and trash bins and tables and like all these accessories to make like a little world.
Hell yeah, I totally agree with you there. All right, next we've got Skydive Batman. The reason I've included Skydive Batman is because, one, we had this figure, but two, I did not remember him having a parachute that would expand out and open up in, like, it was like almost like a tinfoil type thing. It was like a metallic.
I remember chucking it down the stairs at our grandmother's house. It's a cool toy.
It is a cool toy. Did he ever fly? Like, did he ever float in any way? Capacity?
Probably a few times. I think he got lost probably on the move from England to America, the parachute. But I remember the solid orange Batman. And I remember
with the jumpsuit.
I think I played a story once as a kid where he became an inmate of Arkham Asylum and he was fighting all of the other villains, and I used that toy for it because he was orange.
It was orange. What do you say?
I'll give him a B.
I give Skydive Batman a B. I agree. Okay, next up is an iconic one that we obviously had and played with a lot. We've got the Joker.
Oh, that is a very delicious looking
rubber pack.
Rubber pack. I used to suck on that thing for days. 4 days.
I love how your ranking system includes you. Like, did I suck on it?
I'm actually salivating.
Okay, so we've got a Joker mask, a gas mask with a smile face on it, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we've also got a squirty gun, which was supposed to be like his laughing gas spray gun.
It was a good
Um,
squirty gun too. I remember you could properly squirt
Yeah.
stuff with it.
And they later kind of retooled it for Mr. Freeze as well. They used the same type of thing for Mr. Freeze. So
Again,
this
I'm gonna put him A because the versatility isn't there. If he had a hat and like something else that
he's
made it
got a
more like in
gas
the
mask
show,
with a smile on.
he's got a big orange squirty gun. It's not. It's
He
a
never
toy.
had that, did he? Yeah.
No,
And he didn't
he goes
have,
an A.
and he also didn't have a smiley gas mask. He just had
No.
like.
And I don't
Yeah.
remember ever having that smiley gas mask. That must have got lost day one.
Okay, he's going next to Batman. All right, next up we've got I'm Clayface.
Oh,
I'm Clayface.
I liked this toy.
I'm Clay. Yep.
Very delicious because he was all rubber.
Yes, he was all rubber. He was a more solid rubber though, wasn't he? He wasn't soft and
Yep.
squishy. And he had those like ridges on him
Oh, the
that were like
ridges. Oh.
ripped for his pleasure.
Yeah. Just sucking on a big toy that looks like a big piece of poo.
Now I'm going to tell you this is S tier because you've got the claw
is.
fingers, which are in the show, and you've got like the what are those called? Mace. You've got them.
The mace ball that shoots out of his hand when you squeeze him.
Yep. You squeeze his stomach, and it would shoot out of his hand. Yeah, Clayface. Look at that figure. Look at the yellow eyes and the teeth. Like what a detailed, cool figure to do. And they made him bigger. They could have made him the same size, you know, but they're like, no, Clayface is a bigger dude, so we got to make him
You
taller.
know, you missed a line of toys in that big lineup you had when we were kids. The toys, I think they were called like Legends of the Dark Knight. Do you remember the Joker with the big clappy teeth
Buddy,
thing?
I said that to you. I said the
Did you?
other ones they did with Legends, which is the Batman with the dark purple helmet and cape, and the more lighter blue, and he had
And
the grey.
Joker with the teeth thing.
Yes, they did the Legends series as well. Yeah, I didn't have them pictured, but they were part of that. So okay, Clayface is an S tier, right?
S tier because he's got items that he uses from the show again. Look, for me to be S tier, do you have stuff from the show? Yes. Do you have versatility? Yes. Is your accessory not just a big plastic one colored thing?
Yeah, I agree.
Go to the yes.
That's a good way to do it. All right, next up we've got Dick Grayson, which is his sort of change out of costume into a Robin costume. Now, I like how Dick looks.
You what?
He's got this like black t-shirt on, and instead of an R, he's got DG. Like he always needs like initials on his chest emblem. Like if he's not got an R for Robin, he's like, no, I'm Dick Grayson now. So that's what the DG is for. I think it's quite funny. He's got these like little black gloves on, these like almost like biker gloves. He's got his green like spandex on, but I know they were trying to be like, hey, you can be Dick Grayson and then he can change into Robin, but that Robin costume looks bad, man. Like he's got like a satellite dish coming out of his shoulder.
The body piece is trash, but
Yeah.
I played a lot with this toy because I was always Robin when we were playing, and anytime we would do them out of costume, this was the toy that I would use. So nostalgia for me is saying I love this, but looking at it, it's no good. So
I'd say I would even go C with this one.
yeah, just because out of the crap part, you've got a Dick Grayson.
Yeah, you've got DG on his chest. You've got a crap like chest at plate. You've got weird accessories. Like he looks more like he's got like RoboCop accessories or Transformers accessories.
It's C for crap and it's D for dog shit.
That's the new rating system. C for crap, D for dog shit. All right, now we never had this figure coming up, but I still think he's a very cool looking figure in its Killer Croc.
Oh wow, we did not have this toy.
No, I didn't know until many years later they made a Killer Croc toy. Now he's quite.
We would have loved it.
We would have. I mean, his arms go up, and like most of these, there's no like posable limbs. Besides just being able to move the arms and the legs in one articulation, and all he has with him is just a crocodile, which isn't the worst thing, I guess. What would you give Killer Croc as an accessory?
A rock.
You know, oh, that's a
big
good
rock.
idea. So I would say C for Croc.
I agree. There's no like accessory. Like he only checks off one thing, which is you can use the crocodile and something else. So
Yeah. Okay, this one rung some bells for me because we had this. This is Night Star Batman, who has the ability to shoot a batarang out of his pack behind him, and he also had a spinning batarang that went on his gauntlet. So that batarang or like bat-shaped item that would shoot out of his pack, it's called a blade rocket. I use that a lot.
yeah,
But that doesn't negate the fact that the Batman costume is just like gold and black, and I don't think it's the coolest looking design, to be honest with you. I don't look at it and go, "Oh, that's a cool looking Batman." So even with nostalgia, I'd put this in the D pile.
I put him in C. It's not dog shit because we used all of those accessories a lot. Like I think we used that as like a little bat like computer thing that's like basically a drone before drones. I remember we used that a lot with the Batman Returns. Batman. What's the Tim Drake one? Not
What is your
my brain. Batman Beyond is what we used that a lot with.
Yes, it's very Batman Beyond because of the red colors as well.
Put it in C.
All right, let's put it in C. Night Star Batman is going in C. Okay, next up we have another Batman that we had a lot, which is Lightning Strike Batman. And buddy, the reason I included this one...
Oh, yes. Now, this accessory was cool.
This accessory was awesome. And because what I use this accessory for is because I was...
sucked on that fucking bad boy.
Now, what I used it for was not in my mouth, but instead, because he's got this, like, it's almost like a canopy or like a cocoon bat thing that goes around.
We're loving
him,
the
right?
word canopy today.
Canopy, canopy, canopy.
Canopy? Did I say? Oh, yeah, that's right. The Batmobile as well. Now, the reason I liked this so much is because when I had a Wayne Manor and then a Batcave below the bar in our basement,
I know where you're going with this.
I would use this as the like transportation thing that took Bruce Wayne down into the Batcave. Very much reminiscent of Batman Forever when Val Kilmer goes, "Chair," and then he like goes in this like little pod and then goes down into the Batcave. So I loved this. I used this all the damn time. Now, I don't even remember having this figure, and this is the figure this came with.
I remember it.
So the figure I could definitely do without, but the canopy alone, or whatever it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a glider, actually. It's supposed to be like a floaty glider. I would put this in a B.
I agree. B, strictly just because the accessory was awesome.
Yes, I agree. All right, then we got a big one that we used quite a lot, which is Robin, the original Robin toy with the Robin glider that he had.
It's so good.
And he even has yellow inside his cape, which is awesome. And this Robin looks great. He looks just like he's from the animated series. His hair is even styled like the animated series, which they didn't have to do. I could definitely do without all of the weaponry, like accessories and the chest plate thing he has. But the glider...
You didn't need that stuff when you used it.
No. We used the glider a hell of a lot. I remember using that glider a lot. Yeah. So for me, that's kind of like, that's A for me.
It's S for me. I mean, the accessory is super reusable. It looks just like from the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a felt cape with the different color on the inside. That's a nice touch of detail.
Okay, S it is. I'm going to be... That's crazy that the Batman toy is below the Robin toy, but that's the way it goes.
Claw accessory, like...
Yeah, he should have had a Batarang, you're right. Or
you
like
only want him to be up there because it's just him in his regular costume.
Yeah. All right, now we've got Mr. Freeze, who was obviously the breakout villain of this show, amongst other ones. I think this figure looks
this is
awesome.
So cool, man. I remember that little Freeze, like, Ray thing. And what we used to do is we had the Robocop toys where... you could like, or was it Terminator? I don't know what it was, but they came with this thing that you filled with water and put toys in it and then stick them in the freezer and freeze them. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was Robocop, something.
It was something like that. You're right. Yeah.
And I remember I used to play Mr. Freeze and be like, "You're frozen," and then like put the toy in the thing, go stick in the freezer, wait like an hour, and then I used to like run hot water on it so that it'd be like kind of half in it, like
Yeah, and we were made to bring like a plate or a tray down with us so we didn't get water all
Yeah.
over the place.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I
We
remember
kept
that,
it on the
man.
plate. Yes, you're very
Yeah.
right.
So this to me is S tier all the damn way. Like, we've got an amazing Mr. Freeze design. That's Mike Mignola's design come to life. He's even got like the loopy like shoulder attachments. His face is great. He's got the helmet. He obviously, if he had just his freeze gun, it would just be a gun.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not the freeze gun he uses, but they actually gave the ability to like squirt water out of Mr. Freeze
Yeah,
and like make
that's
it
an
look
S
like
tier.
ice. I agree. So great accessories, great looking toy, S all the way. All right, here's one that we did not have. We did have the Batman and Robin version of this, the Uma Thurman version of this, which did take something from this Poison Ivy figure when they were doing the Batman and Robin toys, which is Poison Ivy and her like Venus flytrap claw that you could like push the button. Now the Uma Thurman one had that as well, which is the one we owned, much like the Joker from the Legends of the Dark Knight series had the giant teeth, the same thing. And she has her crossbow from the show as well. Obviously it's not a gauntlet one, but it's still a crossbow. I think she looks pretty cool. I mean, she looks very much reminiscent of Batman the Animated Series. I think she's got some cool accessories. I obviously, like, as a kid, I wasn't mad about buying all the girl figures, besides Catwoman.
Sexist pig.
Yeah, sexist pig. But I would have loved to have owned this figure. So I'm just going to open another T. I would have loved to have had this figure. What do you think about this? Where do you think it should go?
I think she's a solid A tier. I like the little crossbow accessory. She looks just like from the show. I like that, like, she has like the sassiness of like the hip, but then she can also go into holding something else. That's a solid A.
I think this is the first Poison Ivy figure ever made.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so that's also something as well. Ooh, I want to say S now because of that as well, because it's a really good figure.
It's
very. Okay, this is what we had last time. I put Poison Ivy in S, and then after rethinking it, when we were rating the villains, she went in A. All right. Now we've got Bane. Now, we did not have this toy as well. This is one of the few that we did not own. But he's a pretty cool looking character, isn't he? Look at Bane here. Like, I think he looks exactly like he does out of the animated series. He's even got the Venom gauntlet that he had on his wrist. That's the same one from the show, and he's got the tube running to his head, which is really cool. The only thing that lets it down is he's just got this big car bumper that he just ripped. It's like supposed to be like, I ripped this car bumper out.
That's lame.
I think it would have been cooler if like you could hit a button and his knee would come up, so it's almost like I can break you on my knee type thing, you know?
Or even like you could have had like in his arms like some green fluid that if you pressed like a button on his back, you would see like the green move around in it, or switch from skin color to green or something, like his veins.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been really cool, actually. Yeah, so I think because of B for Bane, I think that's where he ended up when we were ranking the villains as well. It's funny how the toys are falling in with the same villain rankings that we did. Go check that out on YouTube if you haven't. There's a full ranking video where we rank all the Batman the Animated Series villains. Available now. All right, now we've got Rapid Attack Batman. Now, the reason I included Rapid Attack Batman is not because we owned it, but because you've got the classic suit Batman again, except for it's more of a shiny silver. But what lets this figure down, and I really wanted to share this with you, is it looks like he's got a nipple clamp that's hanging off of one nipple. What is that? You see that? It looks like it's just hanging off his nipple
all the time.
It's attached to his belt. It's like in a belt. It's supposed to be handcuffs, is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it does look like a nipple clamp, and it's a retooling of Combat Belt Batman, because it's got this like the same belt and the same shooty thing. So it's basically a retooling of the original figure, but adding in some handcuffs and changing it to like a silver shine to the Batman suit instead of a matted grey. I think this is a C.
Yeah, I think it's a C because you can reuse some of those accessories. for gameplay and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's not the worst looking Batman. Like
no, it's fine.
it looks like the show, just a shinier version. All right, we've also got Glider Robin, another one I didn't know existed, but he's got these like almost like Falcon from Captain America from Marvel, Falcon wings, and he's got this like almost flight suit Robin that he's got going on here.
And what, like grabby things as well?
Yeah, like a grabby claw. There's a lot of grabby items in this, isn't it? Like, got you in my claw hand.
Yeah, grab the toy and chuck it.
I mean, C, because the glider wings are kind of
that
cool.
shit in the D. That's
going
trash.
dookie. Okay, yeah. All right, down into the D.
Someone that was forced to play with Robin, I would never play with that toy.
All right, buddy, you ready for this one? This is the Batcave Command Center. Ooh. You ready to blow your mind with nostalgia?
Yeah.
So this was retooled the most out of any of the Batman DC line. It was retooled first created for Batman Returns, then made for Batman Forever, then made for Batman the Animated Series, and then made for Batman and Robin. So that's 4 sets where all they did was there were pictures of villains on the Bat computer, and they would just take the stickers of whatever villains was for the film or the show and put that in the pack. And it also came with a Bruce Wayne figure as well, so you'd have Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer,
and a repaint every single time.
Yes, and some repainting as well. But it's really cool. We use this a hell of a lot, or I did definitely. I would use it just to have Wayne Manor looking like, it's sitting on top of the hill.
Yeah, it's just a great place to have like people fighting around and stuff. Like it's the business.
And I love how it expands out. Like you could close it up or you could expand it out. And on the other side of where the Batmobile comes out is the living room clock. Yeah. That obviously is the entrance to the Batcave, which you can go through on its own door.
You know what's a nice touch is like the skylight that you can bust through.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that skylight. Oh, I can see it now in the picture. That is amazing.
And the doors, it's an S tier.
It's S tier. We've got a catwalk on the back here where you could like walk on the back if you wanted to just have it closed up.
I used to play on that all the time. Yeah.
And then finally, I have to give it a shout out because I use this and love this so much, is the Bat Suit Chamber, where you would go in as Bruce Wayne and you could spin it around at the top. There was this little twisty nozzle, and then Batman would show up and come out as well. And I loved the computer chair setup. And like, there's even like a little compartment to store stuff down here underneath the chair. It is definitely S tier. I just wanted to praise it because I haven't seen this in so long, and I played with this a hell of a lot.
It's the business.
It is the business. All right, this one is interesting. This is another vehicle that I've never seen this.
It's cute.
It's called Aerobat. It's like this little aeroplane pod that shoots out, not only does it shoot out a missile, but you can eject Batman from it. If he holds onto the handlebars, and then this like contraption at the start here of like the ship, you can flip Batman down and he can almost like paraglide. You can kind of see it in the on the box here. Ejects with quick escape action is what it says.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a fun little bat plane. I think it B.
Yeah, B. I think it's fun.
It's like a little, like, it's almost like Thunderbirds. They would have the main thing and then they would have like the little thing,
Yeah, but it's fun to switch it up when he's chasing a certain villain or something or dodging something. It's like, quick, get in the bat scooter or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, it wasn't in the show, but it's a cool vehicle. Okay, this was in the show. This might be the most iconic vehicle that we're going to look at today. This is, of course, the Batman the Animated Series Batmobile. It looks amazing. I loved this because it had the canopy.
Canopy!
That was like, finally, it looks like it does in the show. I love just how slick it looks. The lines are amazing. It's just like the show. It had cool tire poppers that would come out. You would have like these
little tire rippers. I remember those. And
then the entire cockpit would eject out and become a little escape plane, almost like the Dark Knight with what he did. So I think this is S tier all the way.
No competition from me. That's 100% S tier.
Was this your favorite Batmobile toy,
I liked the 89 one.
even without the canopy?
Canopy, canopy, canopy!
Yes.
I did too, but do you know what my favorite Batmobile was?
What?
Batman Forever was my favorite.
Oh no, that was
Batmobile.
my favorite too. That Batmobile was the business.
Because it had the canopy,
Canopy, canopy, canopy!
and it also had
Oh God.
it had the wings. It had both wings. It had and you could take them off.
Tasty,
They had
tasty wings.
He's not talking about chicken wings, everybody.
Oh, that sounds good too.
But then, of course, it had the neon blue light. Whoa, like my microphone right now, and you could
Whoa,
light
that's
up.
cool, man.
Shut up.
Neon is awesome.
That was my favorite, but this is definitely the S tier of the vehicles for sure. Another one that we didn't have right now that I would have loved is the Batplane or the Batwing, but they didn't name it the Batplane.
We must have had that. That looks really familiar.
We did not have this toy. We had the Batman Forever Batwing, and we had the Batman 89 Batwing when Kenner redid it, but we did not have this Batplane. And I think this Batplane might be almost just as cool looking as the Batmobile. We have the actual shape of the...
You definitely polite burped there.
I definitely did.
Almost almost.
My tea is getting to me. So this Batplane, yeah, we even have the crane, another grabby hook thing, but this was used in the show. This is how Batman interrogated that guy in the Clayface Part 1 episode. So I think this looks amazing. It looks just like the Batwing from the show. It's got the claw. It's got like shooting projectiles, which are like little missiles. And this Batplane is just cool looking anyway. So are you happy with this being an S tier as well?
Yeah. A.
We never had it. That's the only reason it would go in A, because we don't have the nostalgia behind it.
Yeah,
Now
fine.
this one we had the Bat Signal Jet. This was like a little torpedo like flying device that would project.
Oh, I remember the light that came with it. That's
Yeah.
at first I was like, what the fuck is that? But now I see on the packaging, the light. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you would project the Bat Signal light until I put it in the bath, thinking it was like waterproof.
Yeah.
And we no longer had it being able to project the light. But just for nostalgia's sakes, I would put this in a B.
Yeah, it's something fun to bring. Like, they're silly because it looks like something you bring in the swimming pool, right? To like have Batman
Yeah,
underwater.
it's got a funny pointy nose. I know it shoots out; it's like a missile thing, but it makes it look not Batman-like, if you know what I mean. Okay, taking another drink of my tea and not politely burping.
I really finished all of my tea.
So then we got a figure coming up. We got Penguin. I love this Penguin figure. It's the first time that we don't have a reuse of the same old Penguin figure we've got before. In fact, this is closer looking to Danny DeVito's Penguin than the Batman Returns line that Kenner did. Obviously based off of Danny DeVito's Penguin as well, this design. I think it looks great. I like his cloth jacket, or like what, trench coat, I guess it is, something like that.
Yep.
And umbrella gun that shoots like an umbrella out of it. That's very Batman Returns, actually, with like the swirly red. This is the most Batman Returns looking figure out of the lot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a cool top hat. What do you think, B?
B. Yeah, B.
B, Penguin in B. Okay, this one is awesome. If this doesn't get S tier, we're done. Okay, just premising that, because this is the Bruce Wayne Street Jet.
No, this is an S because we use this for far more than Batman the Animated Series. This was just a great vehicle to have. And now what was all the cool stuff that it did? Because I remember it did a bunch of cool stuff.
It did a bunch of cool stuff. Now, we had the Batman Returns one. That was the original line of it. This was retooled for Batman the Animated Series. It has different guns. Our guns were gold in the side. You would pull the back, the spoiler of the car. You would pull it back, and as you would pull it back, Bruce Wayne would disappear into the back, and Batman would show up at the front, because Batman was hidden down at the front, and the sides would flap open, and there would be missile like guns or whatever. These ones are grey. In the Batman Returns one, they were gold, like a very like like metallic-y looking gold, almost a matted gold. But this is just, we use this car for so much. We didn't just use this for Batman. If you needed a sports car, this was our go-to sports car that we used for everything. It looked awesome. It had the big glass like top that would go over
plastic.
it. So obviously, yeah, plastic plexiglass looking type thing. And I remember it like had to hook into these little front bits, and it would fold like completely forward.
Yeah.
And it also had the shape of the bat like emblem of the bat wings at the top, like the horns, that would fit into the car. This is S tier for me, man. We use this so much, this car.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Street Jet. Love it.
All right, this one I used quite a lot. This was my like go-to if I was ever playing in the swimming pool or the bath, the hydro bat, because you could actually jet propel it by squeezing water into the back here, and it would actually move in the water. You would like get this pump, and you would pump it up, pump the water, and then as you release, this like gyro thing would spin, and it would shoot Batman. And it's kind of like,
remember that.
it's like a jet ski meets like a mini like I don't know, like a mini boat of some kind. I loved this toy. You'd slip Batman in, his legs would go in at the back, and he would lay forward just like on the box here. I think it's a cool looking thing. I don't think that it's like S or A, but I think it's B because I used it a hell of a lot. It's a cool little boat. It actually moved in the water.
Yeah, I'll give it B because of the originality of its function, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a cool looking toy. I think it looks like it belongs in Batman's arsenal. Now, this one's a really cool story. Now, this one is the Robin Dragster. Okay. This we never owned, and I never knew it even existed. However, there's a cool story behind this toy. This is the rarest Batman the Animated Series toy that we're going to ever see or ever existed. The reason being is it was only released in Canada before it was released in the US and such. And before it even had a chance to be mass produced, the factory that produced it burnt down and they lost the mold to this.
Oh, interesting.
So if you want this toy in box, it's going to cost you upwards of $500 to $600 to own this toy, because it just didn't make tons and tons and tons. There was obviously like quite a lot made. I would say hundreds, maybe even over 1,000, but there are not like mass produced like all the rest. So it's a weird toy. It goes down into like this little like Mario Kart looking race car, and it also goes up like something out of Wacky Races, like Muttley or something like that would do to avoid a road thing.
I give that shit a D. It looks like crap. I'm glad the mold went down.
Robin Dragster, it's being dragged into the D.
That's right.
Now, this one, bud, this is going to ring some bells of nostalgia for you. Do you remember the Joker-mobile?
Oh, fuck yeah, I remember the Joker-mobile. That's so... Oh my god, my brain! The yellow topper over the top with the Joker face on it.
Hell yeah. And I would love how you could slide it up. Like, if you slid it down, it was just like this kind of cool-looking, like, 50s kind of, like, muscle car.
Mm.
But then when you slid it up, you got the guns that would point out the front there, and you would get the Joker smile that would shoot the teeth. It's a really cool-looking car, man. The Joker-mobile, like, we use this a hell of a lot in our games. If Batman and, like, Joker were having a car chase, we would use the Batmobile and we would use this. This is, I think, an S tier for me. This is such a cool-looking car.
I give it an A. I'm not.
You give it an
away.
A?
I'm not blown away by it. It's nostalgic, sure, but S tier.
I think it looks so cool. Like the way the wheels are, the body of the whole car.
That's a solid A.
Joker-mobile.
A for awesome, not S for super.
All right, you gave me Bruce Wayne Street Jet and S, so we'll go with it. Now this one I always thought was cool until looking at it again recently and realizing I don't think that the Bat Cycle is very cool, and the reason being is Batman is molded to that thing.
No, you can take him off.
No, you cannot. He's molded to that thing.
Really?
That is him molded to it. That's all you could do was you could move his torso front and forward. His legs stayed on there. Look at that badonk. Look how thick he's thick. And it looks cooler with the cape, but like I wanted to have a Bat Cycle and get Batman on it. Like not like drive the Bat Cycle somewhere and then be like, okay, gotta get rid of you now and get the Batman toy out. Like
yes,
I'd want to
You're right. An accessory that you can't put your toy onto
Yeah,
is pointless. So that's a D.
it's a D. I agree. It looks cool. It's the Bat Cycle, but they just failed by putting Batman on it. And I know you could like pull it back and he could like drive forward and stuff like that, but still pointless. Now, do you remember this Joker? This is Pogo Stick Joker, which is
Do you remember that Joker? Yeah.
this like neon-y blue suit he wore, and he's got this like pogo stick that like shot a rocket out of it. Man, I've had too much tea. I'm burping up a storm over here. I think it's cool, but it's reusing the same figure that doesn't look as good, and the pogo stick's not great. So I
love
think this is
look. I love the colors. I really do. The accessory is garbage, so that's a C.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the colors are cool. It makes it pop. Okay, I think I already know where you're going to put this, but just for the sake of reviewing most of the main villains, we got Ra's al Ghul here. Now, we didn't have this figure.
Ah, yes,
and
the recognizable costume of Ra's al Ghul.
I hate this figure. He looks like some sort of like medieval knight. Like I don't
chuck it in the bin. That's a solid D.
Yeah, he's got his demon's head mask from the show and the sword, but his costume isn't right. Like I know they were probably doing it to appeal to kids more instead of having him in his like cape and garment, but that ain't right. Now this might be the best looking figure out of all of them as far as looking exactly like the figure. We discussed this before.
Oh my god, she came with that gun as well.
She came with the fist gun. We're looking at Harley Quinn for anyone that's just listening. We've got the bang gun with the flag.
Easy S tier. This is the best sculpt. Look at it. It looks just like a Bruce Timm drawing. Uncanny. Like you compared to the Poison Ivy mold.
Yeah.
Like she looks exactly like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Cool accessories that you can be used with other toys. S tier.
Even got blue eyes. You know, like that's crazy. S tier, Harley Quinn. Okay, we've got Total Armor Batman, which again looks like some sort of medieval knight. This was part of the Mask of the Phantom.
Armor, dude.
We had this because I remember this Batman. This mask that I would use.
Is this Dante's Inferno Batman? Like, is he gonna go through the 7 layers of hell to save Bruce Wayne, his parents? Oh, wait a minute. That's a cool idea.
That's a really cool idea.
I'm just gonna write that one down. You talk about
Oh my god, Dante's Inferno, but oh my god, Bruce Wayne.
Batman's Inferno. Bruce Wayne's Inferno.
Bruce's Inferno. Oh my god.
Batman story ideas. I have a notepad on my thing.
What did you say? You said something earlier as well that was kind of a cool idea. I can't remember what you said now, but yeah. We've got this toy here had this like shell outfit.
That means that Thomas and Martha Wayne went to hell. Which, well, that could be cool as well. Could be all the Mad Hatter's doing and tricking it.
Yeah. Why did they go to hell as well? Maybe they weren't as the good people of Gotham that everyone thought. Maybe there was a deep dark secret there. Who knows?
Yeah, well, it's just all done by the Mad Hatter or something cool. It's just
so you're just ripping off Dream? You're just ripping off Perchance to Dream? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm paying homage.
This Batman, I use this outfit, mainly this mask, for when I would like want Batman to fight someone like Firefly or like he was going against fire. I always thought this was a cool protective thing, but I don't think it's that great. So I'm going to say this is a D because this makes no sense.
I think it's kind of cool. I put it in the C because then you could use like this is the Batman that fights what's his name, Apocalypse or something like that.
Darkseid, you mean?
Darkseid, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, well, all right. Man, you're coming up with some great ideas today, bud. All right, so that's C. Apocalypse Armor Batman is now what we're calling it. Okay, Now we've got a ridiculous Robin. Just the name alone, Ski Blast Robin. Ski Blast! Look at Robin in this thing. Like, it's like he's actually... It's like
he's crying for help.
He's like he's in like a robot mecha suit or something, and it does look great.
It's like in the Iron Man movie when the guy like is in the Iron Man suit they're trying to build, and then it like snaps the torso in half or whatever. That is straight into the dog shit pile.
Why do we need a ski Robin? I don't get it. All right, this is a classic figure. This is the Riddler. I love this figure. He's got this smirk that I think is really great here. And he's got his cane. I don't get the riddle gun or whatever. It like the question mark loops over his shoulder, and he fires out this like missile thing, which isn't the greatest. But this costume is great.
The accessory puts it in an A. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
would have been an S if he came with something cooler.
Yeah, let's pop Riddler in the A.
I wonder who's the toy designer that figured out like we could put a piece of a toy in each package to then eventually build a whole new toy. Because I just think that's just such genius.
It's
ways of getting
genius marketing,
sales.
isn't it? Yeah, because then you're like, they've got to buy it if they want their figure.
I remember as a
Look.
kid having so many pieces of stuff that never got built because I never owned the whole toy line. Like, do you remember
Yeah.
the Metal Gear Solid toys we had? And if you bought all of them, you could build the Metal Gear. We never had the
Yes.
full line. I remember we had like, I don't think we ever had the middle. So we just had like all of the limbs. Like, yeah, it was cool.
That was dope. I love that. All right, we got Sea Claw Batman. We don't have to spend a lot of time on all of these other ones, but he looks kind of cool because he's got this like breathing apparatus, but it's way over the top with
We'll
his
put him in
design.
C then, because you could use him for scuba diving. Next.
Yes, yeah, yes, you could. This one's an interesting vehicle. It's called a Night Sphere. It's almost like a gyro cockpit that's in the shape of a batwing.
I dig that. It's like a UFO Batman.
Yeah, or like kind of like what's his face from The Watchmen, the owl.
Yeah,
or a night owl. He would have something like that. I'd say
that makes
B.
it cooler.
No,
C.
C for Night Sphere. All right. Then we've got
B.
B for Night Sphere. He looks nice next to Aerobat. The
B for
Bat
badass. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, Hydro. All of the toys so far, the vehicles, might I say, that were not in the show, we've all put in B. Look, Aerobat, Night Sphere. We obviously like a toy vehicle more than we do like a spin-off.
All the G.I. Joes back in the day with all their little vehicles, all the Star Wars vehicles. A toy vehicle was an event when you got it, because you could go to the store during any old time and be like, "Mommy, can I have an action figure?" And you might get one, but you would get these vehicles on birthdays and Christmases, and they'd be the big presents that you were waiting for.
Yes.
You know, wrap them, you'd be like, "Oh, it's fucking Batman UFO. Yeah, cool."
Absolutely. We've also got the Phantasm next, which I think originally I thought was a cool toy, but then looking at it, this toy looks like shit.
Oh, I liked this toy.
This toy is clearly like, it looks like, because Andrea Beaumont, because the female figures are always smaller and they've got a different body shape, it looks weird because the Phantasm's mask and like shoulders are gigantic on her, and the scythe hand goes like way too. I don't think it looks very good. And she's got a gun. I don't know what that gun is used for.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a ray gun. I guess B. And also, it spoils who the Phantasm is, because this toy spoiled it for so many people. Because you would see there was no like sticker over the face or anything.
Whoopsie.
It was clearly Andrea. B for be better. All right, we've got Mech Wing Batman. Now we had this, and I think this is an awesome toy. This is very reminiscent of Batman Returns with the glider wings, because these would pop out. You could fold them up, and they're like a cloth wing with like the framing going around it.
Oh yes, the cloth. I love a bit of cloth in a toy.
Yeah, me too.
Give me a new texture, you know, like I like that.
Yeah. And you could fold it into things, you know, because it was obviously
and
just
you could
cloth.
use this like Batman fighting freaking Man Bat and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's cool. A.
Yeah, A. I agree. And the suit is just a reuse of that orange one earlier, but whatever, it looks good. Okay, this one, I anticipate this one to be high up there. This is Jetpack Joker. And buddy, we loved this toy.
Yes.
I love that, first of all, he's got his pilot cap.
Yep.
With the goggles. That's awesome. It's a different mold of Joker. They haven't just taken the Joker. They've added like these like parachute pants to him and like baggy clothing. I like his like the belts going across him, like the harnesses. The jetpack is cool. The green thing, the nozzle thing, I could do without, because that's not from...
Not in a sexual way, but I used to stick my finger in that nozzle all the time, because
it had a like, rubber thing.
Had like rubber breakage in it that you could stick your finger in.
Like it was like almost like teethed rubber.
Yeah, and you could like I used to stick on toys' heads and stuff, And then what I used it for was I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan as a kid, so I'd use it as Cell's in that show. Cell would like use its tail to like absorb somebody into themselves to gain their powers.
Right.
So I used to use that. Yeah, but I used to, in a non-sexual way, finger that bad boy all night long.
I will say that you said in a non-sexual way, but you were talking about sucking on toys earlier. Like,
Oh yeah,
everybody knows it's non-sexual with you now. When it comes to anything with toys, it's
I'm
just
a very non-sexual person.
Yeah, it's really just an
This
oral...
is the pussy that I get right here. Nice
not a
pussy.
not a sponsor.
I'm
All
happily
right.
married, and I have a very healthy sex life. I'll leave it at that.
Here's a vehicle I don't think is going to rate very high. This is Triple Attack Jet, which had 3 different modes. It's like this almost like cocoon to start with that Batman
it's
goes
weird.
inside. Then it's a glider, like you could hang Batman from it and you could glide down with it. And the other thing is like it's kind of like an open winged little jet. And I don't think
It doesn't say Batman to me at all, so that goes in the D.
says G.I. Joe. That's what that says to me.
Yep.
Oh, where did we put Jetpack Joker? Did we rate Jetpack Joker?
Oh, he's
No,
S.
S, definitely. And then D for Triple Attack Jet. I think I know what this is going to be, but I had to include it because it's just crazy how they're like, let's do Mr. Freeze again, but make it absolutely ridiculous. What are
What the hell
these
am I
like?
looking at?
he's got his squeezy gun still, but he's got these like goggles that go into tubes that go on his head, and he's got this like disc
Even he looks
firing.
concerned about this choice. Like, look at his eyebrows.
It's way too much stuff.
Right?
He's so top
Not
heavy.
sure about this one, lads. That's a D.
I'm not so sure about this one.
You're making me look like a fucking loser.
Nerd. All right, this is the first Batgirl figure ever made. And not only that, but because they weren't confident enough to sell Batgirl in her original costume on her own, they're like, all right, well, let's make her costume different and let's give her a big accessory. So they made this Wind Blitz Batgirl, and she's basically got a giant windsurfing device, which makes no sense. So this was their first...
You know what? I dig that costume. I think it's kind of cool.
What, with the black stripes going around?
Yeah.
Very Spider-Man, isn't it?
It is very Spider-Man. I think it's a cool costume. I have no idea what this accessory is. But
It's
I also...
a windsurfer.
That's a windsurfer?
Yeah.
The slowest like method of like sea transportation? Robin, I'll stop them in 3 hours once the current picks up.
What do you think, Alfred? By sea or by windsurfer?
Never by windsurfer, sir. Nice, sir. She's not even tall enough to pick up the wind. She's standing in front of the wind part.
It's the first Batgirl, but the costume's not right and the accessories suck. So we saying
I'm gonna put it in a
C?
C because there's something weird that I like about it. I could see using that as like a bat shield or like a Mr. Freeze frozen thing or something like that. Like there's stuff to be done in there. If you're a creative child.
If you're a creative child. This one we didn't know existed until earlier. This is Trenchcoat Joker, or just the Joker as they called it. He's
so biased here because like, has he got a Tommy gun as well?
He's got a Tommy gun, bud. It's a machine gun, and he's also got a stick of dynamite with a Joker face on it. And he's got his trench coat and hat. That's
S tip, baby.
Yeah, that's the coolest looking Joker. And the other Joker's in A. So this is like we got Jetpack Joker and Trenchcoat Joker in S, and the original Joker in A. That's the way she goes, boys. We got Tornado Batman up next. Again, not like something that I would go crazy over. However, we did own this because you could pull this like rubber cord and it would fire out this like.
I used to stick that thing in and out all the time, and it was not in a sexual way. It was just a very satisfying like to rip it out and see it like spin and
it would go
click. Yeah, and it would click when you put it. So. C though, well maybe B.
C. No, C. That costume's rubbish. That costume is crap.
It is, but it was fun to tinker with that device.
It looks like he's got the spot or something like that. You know, like all the bubbles of blue on him. C for Tornado Batman. Jet Blast Batman we had as well. This is one we saw earlier. He's got this giant jetpack, where you could turn the jetpack as well, and this like rocket helmet that would go up and
D all
over.
the way. This is crap.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, and they always reuse that same costume of like the belts going like the harness. They've used that like 3 or 4 times. They're about to use it again for this one. This is actually the 4th or 5th version of this Batman figure we've seen, and it's the same Robin glider, except for it's blue and it's got the bat signal on it. This is also.
See,
I think this would
because
be D, to be honest with you.
No, because I like the Robin glider, so I'd be like, oh well, I have to get the Batman glider so I can have Batman and Robin gliding at the same time.
It's a shame it's blue though.
It's blue. Yes.
So
There.
no.
You've never seen the video of Boris Johnson when it's like, and he's asked, what shampoo do you use when you take a shower? And he's like, I use a all-in-one body wash and shampoo. I don't know the name of it. It's blue.
That I use for all sort of cleaning purposes, and it's blue. That's all I know. It's blue.
I think it's Lynx, isn't it?
And everyone's like, Jesus Christ, the leader of our fucking country uses like a 4-in-1 body wash in the shower. He just goes in there and squirts down and then rubs it and leaves. Like,
and it's for teenagers.
And he's got children with corn hair. Oh, but it's blue. Me and my wife say that all the time. If anything's blue, we just go, it's blue.
It's blue.
This one is crazy ridiculous. Look at this Batman. It's like every machine has formed into Skycopter Batman, where he's got he's actually got a propeller.
Barely a person anymore.
I know. He's got this like
it propels.
Robot. It propels like a helicopter. It goes up over his head or behind him. Actually, it goes behind him. Which, if you moved your leg back slightly, your leg's going to get sliced off, right? Because it's on your back. That's
D
a D.
For dumb.
Yeah, deluxe dumb.
As a kid, I never wanted all these like, Batman with high actions. Like, who was that for? Dum-dums? Like, I never wanted all this shit. I'm like, give me screen accurate representations of the characters so I can create my own stories.
If you are watching and you like those alternative ones, that's totally okay. I will say that.
It's not. You've ruined toys for all of us with purchasing that crap.
Hey, everybody, remember to like and subscribe right now.
Yes, do that.
Okay, Duro Force
sign
Riddler.
up for my Patreon.
Look, Duro Force Riddler. It's the same exact Riddler, except for he's got a...
Now, I will defend this solely
Riddler copter? We just made fun of a copter!
I will defend this solely because the copter freaking wings are question marks, which is very fun.
Now, we had this one. We didn't have the original Riddler.
Right.
We didn't have the cane with the Riddler gun. We had this one. This
is cool because you can have Batman chasing him in the Batplane or in the glider thing, and you can do like a cool escape with Riddler here. I like this, so I put it in a B.
I put it in a B as well.
It's a good Riddler figure as well, so B.
Yeah, the costume's slightly different. He's got all black suit instead of the grey and the green trousers, but yeah, B, that works for me. All right, now we've got Decoy Batman, which we teased earlier. I loved this figure. This was one that I enjoyed a lot. I would push Batman's head down constantly. It was so loose by the time I was done with it because I would constantly thumb his head down. It's a shame that the suit is red. If this was a grey suit, I would much prefer it. Because then I could be like, oh, Batman, and then he's Bruce Wayne, because that's really cool. And Bruce Wayne has got the gauntlets on, so he's not exactly in Bruce Wayne outfit. But I've always liked a changed character.
It's a B, solid B.
Yeah, solid B. All right, now we've got Electronic Crime Stalker, which sounds like some sort of bad band from the 80s. This is another buggy.
Don't even bother talking about it. Check that shit in the D.
Do you know how
terrible?
It looks like something out of Wacky Races, doesn't it? Like something that you would see in Wacky Races.
Bad.
Imagine seeing that in the Batcave. It's what should I take tonight, Alfred? Should I take the Batmobile, the Batwing, or the Electronic Crime Stalker?
No, something Alfred's been making. Oh, we got it for Christmas. Or you could take the Electronic Crime Stalker, sir.
Now we watched
I painted it plum.
We watched this earlier.
Fruit.
Earlier when we watched the ad, we watched this. This is the Hoverbat. This is
D.
a weird. It's a D, isn't it? It makes no sense.
Looks like
It
a
doesn't-
trash bin.
Yeah, it does, with claws. Again, with the claws. I don't understand. Here's another vehicle which I didn't know existed, and I don't think looks very Batman at all. This looks like something out of Thundercats. This is the Ice Hammer, which was made for Mr. Freeze, which like has this spinning front that's supposed to like drill through ice. And Batman goes inside in this like little cockpit thing.
I give it a C because like it looks kind of cool, but I would.
It's very Thundercats.
Yeah, it is very. Yes, you're right. It looks like the Mole Digger. Yeah, C.
Okay. And then this is the last of our vehicles today. This actually I think is called. This is the BATV or the BATV or BATV or however you want to say it. But
Cool.
it's
got
like
tank treads. Yeah, that's dope.
got tank treads. It comes up just like the Joker mobile. So like has this shield protection.
Yeah,
this
that
is
was
cool.
straight Dark Knight Returns shit right there.
Yeah. I'm saying B for that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay. Then we got Power Vision Batman. I included this because this is the closest that Batman the Animated Series will ever get to Michael Keaton's Batman. It is a full black Batman suit with the gold belt and gold and black emblem. You can also shine a light behind him, and the bat signal and his eyes light up as well.
B.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And
B
then we've got
Batman.
B for Power Vision Batman. Then we've got the Ultimate Batman, which was the larger figure, G.I. Joe size. Again, you can shine a light.
What is that pose?
I know, that's not a great pose. You can
He's
shine
like
a light through him.
Trying to fix like his pants, like he's got a wedgie up his ass or something.
I don't know, bud. It's a weird one.
And it says it's the Ultimate Batman. I would.
Yeah.
I do not want that. I'd put that in a D. That's crap.
Ultimate shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or
not
like,
good.
crap, man.
All right, mate. We finally get to it. The only figure of Batman the Animated Series you are allowed to own, which is Two-Face. Now,
What the hell are these accessories?
I've got some problems with these accessories, man. You don't have a coin. Granted, the coin is too small, but give Two-Face a machine gun, right? Give him a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
Why does he have this fire or safe? So it's this gun. It's a gun where he can decide if he's going to kill you or if you're safe. It's like his coin version of a gun, right? Like you can decide
I feel
if you
like
want.
that's such an overthinking, like, of
buddy,
the character and the toy.
That's not the worst. The worst is he's got a gold chain. Why does he have a gold chain around his neck?
I'm fucking gangster.
Yeah. Why is he like I don't know, 50 Cent?
I'm really into 90s hip hop at the moment.
I know, I just dated myself so much saying 50 Cent, Jesus Christ. But you know what I mean? Like, why has he got this, like, it's almost like he's like, this is for my sweet...
It's your birthday. What a party, like it's your birthday. We're gonna spin this thing like it's your birthday, and it could be safe on fire. I like the toy. We used the toy.
You went so serious after that. Like, I like the toy, and yes,
I like the toy. It's not that good looking when I look at it though. It's a C. Thanks.
Yeah,
Wade.
it is.
Thanks for this toy.
Yeah, that's probably why
even you looked at it as a kid and was like, nah, "This is trash. I'll give it to my mom."
And you know what I hate? His dots are red, like he's got fucking measles or something. Like,
oh yeah, I remember that chickenpox face.
Yeah, and they should be blue. So
it's blue.
Yeah,
it's blue.
No. You're going what? C? You said
C.
Yeah,
C for crap.
All right, this one I think is actually pretty cool, mainly because we get a different version of Batman. We get Retro Batman, which has the sort of Jim Lee, Frank Miller Batman logo. He's got longer ears. I kind of like the shine to him. I think he looks kind of cool. The accessories are definitely left to be desired, but
what are they?
But he's also got his belt with the pouches. So essentially, this is the Batman, you know, in like Robin's Reckoning, we had the flashback and he's in his old costume with the solid black logo and he's got the pouches on the belt. This is, I guess, even though it's Mask of the Phantasm, which it wasn't included in the film, this version of the outfit.
Maybe there was an early design in Mask of the Phantasm where when he first appeared, he had like more of the look of Batman Year One, because that's what this is saying, right?
Yeah. And he does in the show when in Brum's Reckoning when we come to review it, he will be in that costume. I think he looks good. The figure looks good. The accessories suck, so a B.
Yeah, what even are they? Is that like a
it's
staff?
like a battle axe? Yeah, battle staff, and again
double-sided battle axe.
Yeah, and then also a claw. Again,
Fucking
the claw.
again with the claws. Just grab him, Batman. Why do you need like a big claw?
Yeah, he's just like, is this consensual?
You might have a cold. I don't know. COVID's still really rampant, so I'm just gonna keep you at arm's length. Let's see.
C, I'd say B for the suit.
All right, B for the
That's
suit.
a cool suit. I like that suit a lot. 3 more to go. We got this one. I'm sure you're going to remember. This is the Bruce Wayne figure that I preferred even more than the other one that we reviewed. This is cool. This Bruce Wayne also came in the jet, whatever it was, the car that we saw, the sports car. I think that the Batman accessories to this, I always used them in mind that this was Batman's armor, like when he fought Superman.
Yeah.
And the helmet we would use all the time for like the bike helmet, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you could slide it on people. So for me, this is an A.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I think that's the best looking Bruce Wayne figure. God, our list is huge. Good golly.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not choosing the whole line, but I will choose like 7 to 25 shitty, weird side items. What did you leave out? 3 things?
Something like that. We've got Catwoman. This is the Catwoman figure. She's got a cat, Isis, that wraps around her shoulder. She's got 2 giant claw accessories, like almost like cat claw accessories that go onto her wrists. And she can, like, I guess it's meant to climb buildings, which aren't the coolest thing. But she does have the whip, and she does have Isis, and it is the original costume. So I think this is an A.
A, really? You're gonna put this next to your Batman toy?
Yeah, this Catwoman is iconic. To me, this Catwoman is the best looking Catwoman costume.
I'm not debating the costumes that Tim Burton designed. We've already put her in S tier as the greatest Catwoman of all time. I'm here strictly reviewing toys.
You said Tim Burton. You meant the other Tim.
Bruce Timm, for Christ's sake. Sorry. You know what I meant.
I'll get comments.
The whip is cool. The cat is the claws.
It's Isis. I think the claws are dumb. But the whip is cool. The Isis is cool because Isis was always on her shoulders. I don't think there's not much articulation anyway, but it is weird with these.
Put it in A.
Yeah, Catwoman belongs in A. I like that. Actually, she's a B.
After all that.
I'm looking at the B's. I'm like, yeah, that works.
There's the B.
And our final one of the day is one that's not sort of cool at all. It just ended up being the last one, but we did have it. This is infrared.
Batmans were there, for Christ's
sake? There were a
sake.
lot. This is infrared Batman, and what you would do is you'd put this like accessory. It would clip onto his torso, and you would flip the top up, and it would shoot Batman discs, which we did have. These plastic, like neon orange discs would fire out the top of them, and I did quite like shooting them because they did always work, and there was like 3 or 4 of them that you could fire. So for all of that, for me, a C, because the costume sucks, but the accessories like is all right, but it's nothing amazing. All right, bud, we did it. We've done the entire line. Just to expand out here, here's our list. There was 60 toys, and
what did we do? Like 55?
No, we've done 60. In total for Batman the Animated Series, there was over 100. I excluded quite a lot of like Duo Force and like all these other costumes where I'm like, don't remember that. So yeah, it's a massive toy line. I mean, it went for like 4 years, and Kenner made any single Batman toy they could because they just wanted to sell them.
Did they not make like Mad Hatter and all that stuff until the new animated series toys?
Correct. They did. When they did the new animated, they didn't make the new animated Mad Hatter because he's like a lot shorter and he's got a green outfit. They made the classic Batman the Animated Series Mad Hatter under the new animated. And when we do come to review the new Batman Adventures toy line, there is a lot of crossover where there's a Batman the Animated Series Batmobile, not the new Batman Adventures, in blue and grey camo. Like they went. If you think Kenner was bad, Mattel went bonkers with slap Batman in a blue costume and call it a day. Not even give him a cool accessory. Like, why not?
I do remember that one of the coolest toys of the new adventures was Mr. Freeze with the removable head and the spider legs. That was such great stuff.
That was so cool. That was a great toy. Yeah, the fact that they even did that, that's crazy that they did that. Okay, so that wraps up our toy review. Did you enjoy that for the most part? I know there was a lot of toys.
I did. It was a bit long, but I enjoyed it. I don't know if anybody's still watching this. If you are, then Jesus Christ, go do something better with your life. Well, we 30-year-olds fucking looking at action figures. Like, come on.
Well, this is our last episode of 2023,
and forever. This is it. The final.
You're done. This is it. You've done the toys. You're out. Okay, so
we've had our fill. Right? What's it been? 2 years?
No, it's only been a year. Yeah.
Only for a year we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, but so let me get into my bit here. Okay, we are taking a break for the holidays. We'll be back in mid-Jan with our review of Appointment in Crime Alley, which I know you don't remember, but the music surely will ring a bell. I just want to say...
Walker will ring a bell, huh?
Oh, that was really good. I like that.
Thank you.
What a year it's been, though, for this podcast. Like, I didn't expect it to grow the way it's grown. Like, we did Spider-Man for so long, and we had such a great following, but nowhere near what we've had and received from this podcast, which I'm really thankful. Like, a big thank you to Ben for joining me to review movies when you either have deadlines that you have to make and you can't attend an episode, or just need to take a break. Like, that's really helpful for Ben to be able to jump in. Go check out his podcast, Watching Films on the Toilet, if you haven't yet already. It's a very good podcast.
Yeah, I've been on it before.
You have, yeah. We've both been on it. Big thank you to my brother and my co-host for making time every single week to record these episodes within his very busy schedule. Being an artist and writer, you are constantly busy because you ain't got a salary. You gotta work to get paid, and it takes you a long time and I don't know how many hours. So thank you for always taking time out for this podcast. I really appreciate it because I think we've seen some pretty cool stuff and chatted with some really cool people in the last year for this podcast. So a big thank you. And most of all, a big thank you to all our listeners, especially those that have written in the kindest and most inspiring thoughts about this podcast, even those that have gone above and beyond and actually left money in our tip jar. You have no idea how much that helps us, and we are completely independent here in the podcave, so that is huge help.
Your donations in November paid for us to have a Thanksgiving meal together, which was lovely.
They did. They really did. So this podcast has been my favorite thing to do and has actually made my 2023 a pretty positive year overall. I haven't had the best year, but this podcast has helped it raise that bar to be what, this year wasn't so bad. So thank you to everyone that helped make that happen for me, because yes, I obviously work hard and do all the editing and, run all the socials for this pod and put these episodes together, but I really enjoy doing it. So thank you to everyone for helping me do something that I really enjoy.
Yeah, and we all thank you for your very hard work, for putting this whole podcast together, whether it's editing the whole thing, whether it's all the editing you've done of videos to upload online, the growth that you've been able to establish through all your social media posts, whether it's on TikTok. Instagram has been blowing up recently. My God, my phone gets Instagram notifications every fucking day now. Blum, blum, blum.
Have you turned them off yet?
No.
I've turned them off now.
I forgot to, but yeah, it's and it makes a little noise on my phone. My wife's always like, what is that? It's Instagram. It's goddamn Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, I'm very proud of you. This is,
thank you.
Stuck to this. You've achieved something with it. So great job, buddy, and keep it up.
Thank you. I will. And yeah, thanks for that. I think that be interesting to see. I'm very excited for 2024 and to see where this podcast goes next, and what we can achieve and how it's going to grow. Because in a dream world of mine, which I'm not counting on, but could happen, is we are monetizing this podcast now, not to the extent of being able to even earn a living off of it, but it started to slowly pay for itself pretty much each month and the bills I need to pay. So that's a start by monetizing TikTok. If you guys haven't checked us out, we're at Batman TAS Pod on TikTok, same on Instagram. I've started to pick up some few dollar bills, y'all, from those sites. And then, yeah, obviously we have our tip jar, which we're super appreciative of. So who knows? Our listenership is growing every single day. So thank you, everybody, for all of that and giving us the opportunity to basically talk every week and talk about my favorite TV show of all time. So we're not going to do Ace the Bat sound because, one, we're filming this and we'll get a copyright strike if we play those music clips. So you'll have to stick around until the new year to find out what the episode was, the music clip, which my brother has already forgotten, but it is the same animal name twice. And don't say it.
Animal name twice.
It's from Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Birdie.
Yes, the episode Birdie. But I will do, and we're not going to do what you're putting in the holes because we have already taken up loads of time. But I will do our You Got Mail segment because our You Got Mail segment is super important and we appreciate everyone writing in. So I'm going to give these people that moment to shine. Cue that theme tune. By the way, sir, this came for you an hour ago. You've got mail. Thank you, Alfred. There you go. It's because I didn't have it
go back
queued
and
up.
actually edit it and put it in and
No.
spend more time.
I love how you're like, thanks for the editing. And I'm like, I'm not doing that this time. So this is the segment where I take all your comments, emails, messages, and especially podcast reviews and read them out on the pod. So we got one of our classics. We got listener Harry Baldock, who's been around since the get-go. Baldock has put 20 quid in our tip jar.
Oh, Harry, that's so kind.
He says, thanks again, you legends, for another great year of pods, keeping me sane to and from work and dealing with great doses of nostalgia and laughs to us all. Merry Christmas. Now, he says, any plans for a live show in 2024? Dun, dun, dun. I burped there after I said it, which is why there was a pause. Any plans? Blah. Yeah, live show. Blah. Okay, so live show. I have been researching it. I'm not saying that it's a definite. I know that smaller podcasts can find venues that aren't massive. So what I found some options, and this is London based. For anyone that can get to London easily, this might be the option for you if you wanted to see us live. I was thinking of reviewing an episode or something big, maybe a two-parter. Maybe even, I don't know, maybe even a film, although we're not going to get a film to ages. So maybe a two-parter. But I was thinking of doing a live watch-along with people at a live event, and then us doing our review like we always do, yeah? Go through all of our segments, go through the notes that I take, talk about stuff, then do our, Ace the Bat sound and all that fun things and all our little games and everything else. So I would love to be able to do that, but it all depends on if people show up or not. So what I will say to everyone is if you want and are able to get to a London live show of ours, ticket prices will not be that expensive because we're certainly not going to charge loads of money. We'll probably be able to just cover the cost of the venue. Other from that, travel costs, we, probably cover that as well. But that's about the extent. We're not looking to get paid, but I think it would be awesome to do it in front of a live audience. So if
it's whatever fuel or train it takes me to get to London, I'll just stay at yours. And then food, I can pay for my own food. As long as that's covered, I'm in. As long as
I only have green M&Ms in my dressing room, then I'm fine.
Yeah, as long as someone gets me a pack of smokes and a bottle of scotch, then yes, I'm absolutely in.
Now you're talking. Okay, so if you guys like the sound of it, you know where to find us on socials. It's at Batman TAS Pod. Drop us a message on socials, yeah? Direct messages are great. I can read them all. Or you can email us at batmantaspod@gmail.com. Let us know. If I have... I'm not looking for hundreds of people because I'm certainly not expecting that because, our listeners are all over the world. But if there's enough people that are in and around London that want to do it, I'll hook something up in the new year and we'll get to it. I don't know when it will be. It might be probably spring, maybe summer. We'll see. And I'll look at the episodes.
Autumn. I mean, you want enough time to advertise it, promote it, and get it out there. Don't do it until the autumn.
Well, we'll see. It depends on the venue and like what we can
Halloween bonanza.
We've got lots of cool episodes coming up. We've got some two-parters as well, so it might be cool to do a two-parter and then review it all in one. So, Harry, thank you for asking that question. I'm sure if you're asking it, you'd be willing to do it. So if anybody else out there wants to see a live show, let us know. All right, then we've got Sasha on Spotify. I'm going to burp. I'm not even going to politely hide it anymore. I'm just going to burp.
Ew, that was a disgusting burp.
Okay, I love how I'm like, who wants to see a live show? Okay, Sasha on Spotify has said, this pod is a perfect mix of nostalgia, giggles, and analysis. I left you lads a wee tip in the jar to thank you for the work you put into entertaining us lucky listeners. And I checked, and it's true. Thank you so much, Sasha. It was a wee little tip.
That's very kind.
Super kind. Then we got Reed Smith on Spotify. I really enjoyed listening to this episode, Batman Returns. He's talking about the last one I did with Ben. I started following you Robson Brothers from the Spider-Man the Animated Series podcast and have been happy to hear your thoughts on both of these series. Thank you, Reed. That's very kind of you to write in and say that.
Reed Richards writing in himself. Thank you, Reed.
Yeah, Reed Smith, but close enough.
That's his middle name.
That's his middle name, yeah. Jabriath Punnington. I don't know if that's
Jabriath Punnington.
Now, if that's your real name, that's an amazing name. I mean, you sound like a Batman villain, the Punnington. You know what I mean? Like that's like the Clock King and the Punnington.
His first story arc is Sin and Punnington.
So Jabriath as well. Jabriath Punnington on Spotify has said, "Awesome podcast." Awesome episode. It's just I love the name, so I wanted to give Jabriath a shout out.
Jabriath Punnington.
Then we've got another listener who's written in before, Rob Ailing, who says, not Batman related, but I thought you'd appreciate this since I know you guys are Bond fans. I think he means mainly me, but still.
I can down the clown with Bond from time to time.
Yep. Now, I've never put this together. He sent a screenshot of a post that read, the fact that we got a James Bond film in 2006 and 2008, but not in 2007, the only year with 007 in it, just doesn't sit right with me. That blows my mind.
Single, just 07, not oh no, it is 2007.
2007, it's 007. Yes.
Did a video game come out at all or anything?
Maybe, but like those games aren't great, those Daniel Craig ones. Like,
well, it would have been pre. When did the first James Bond movie come out?
No, Casino Royale came out in 2006.
2006.
And then Quantum of Solace came out in 2008.
Well, maybe it came out on DVD in 2007. But yes, you're right. I bet that was a slap on the head. Stupidity.
Like Casino Royale, I would probably, like, now knowing it's one of my favorite Bond films, I wouldn't have had to wait until 2007. But if I was the marketing team, be like, we've got a new Bond. We're doing the first Bond story ever. Fuck 2006 summer. We're waiting until 2007.
Yeah.
007, the year that new James Bond, OG, Casino Royale. Like, that makes so much sense. Blows my mind.
Missed opportunity.
Then we've got Millennial Muscle on our Heart of Ice video review.
Right here, baby. Oh, yeah.
Millennial Muscle has said on YouTube about Heart of Ice, it was my first episode watching of you guys. And yes, I did think the audio was off. It's surprising, that's the first time I've ever heard that. However, Millennial Muscle says, the flawless impression of Mr. Freeze compelled me to stay, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, that is a particularly funny episode. I think that spearheaded you to start doing the editing, right? Because you wanted all the
yes, I'm a fucking loser.
No.
Someone give him a wedgie. Where's Big Bad Harv? And then finally we got Iconic Trash. Iconic with a K. 2 Ks.
I myself often feel like Iconic Trash.
On TikTok, Iconic Trash says, you guys' humor is great and it's a real treat every time you come up on my page. Well, thank you for following us on TikTok. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. And if you enjoy this podcast, Please be sure to leave us a 5-star review on whatever you're listening to us on right now, as it helps us back grapple up the charts and attract both new listeners and guests. And if you leave a review, we'll probably read it out on the podcast. And please subscribe or follow us on your preferred podcast catcher of choice if you haven't yet already. You can follow us on social media at Batman TAS Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere but the app formerly known as Twitter. I've said Twitter twice now, which is at Batman TAS Pod 1. And that's because why?
Because we are the #1 Batman, the animated series podcast.
You goddamn right. And in the description of this episode, you'll find a tip jar where you can give us any amount of money you can afford to give if you so wish. As
you can see, people have been doing it, so you probably feel a bit left out, right?
Yep. I mean, your wallets don't feel left out.
Look, no pressure. If you don't want to give anything to Batman the Animated Series podcast, it's fine. Just go to my Patreon instead and sign up and give just directly to me. If you listen to this just for me, give it directly to me, because I don't see the stuff. It all goes to funding, paying for the podcast and hosting fees and stuff. It's very expensive to run a podcast. It's costing it, not me money. I don't pay for it. He pays for all of it. But yeah. Just thought I'd just check that in there.
Yeah, as we aren't billionaire playboy philanthropists, any amount that you can afford to give us is not necessary.
Look, there's no art on my walls. I'm broke, baby. It's just a wall.
You don't want to see what's behind this green screen.
No, you can see in the corner I'm flipping shit on eBay by selling a bunch of books and shit because we're broke.
We're broke. So if you can support us, thank you so much. If not, that's okay. And finally, you can follow me everywhere.
It's not okay. It's totally fine. I know. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. It's just
yeah. You're backtracking. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please follow my Patreon. Oh, yeah.
Follow my
You can follow me at Chef Alex Robson anywhere on socials, and you can follow Will on his socials, stay up to date what he's working on, and get a glimpse into the workday of a comic book artist and a writer. Will, where can our listeners find you?
Anywhere on the internet at Robson Inc., and that's Robson INK. Or you can go to my website, speechcomics.com, read Dead-Eye Dick, which is the backup story to my zombie comic Outbreaks, absolutely for free. You can sign up to my newsletter so you can stay up to date for when I launch new comics on Kickstarter. The next one is coming in March, and you can sign up to my Patreon if you are an aspiring artist and want a little help in that area. So I've got lots of fingers and lots of pies, and I put them together. Me oh my.
He's putting his fingers in all of those rubber orifices and then sliding them into his mouth. What you put in your holes, we're not going to do it, but Christmas. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I watched
Christmas stuff.
Lights, and it was a movie.
No, don't turn that up, because I want to talk about it, because I watched a preview for it and I was like, that is enough for me. That looked bad. But you watched the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing. Beautiful
Jesus.
Animation. My God, I feel bad for the people that had to animate that. Yeah. I don't know if it was the same studio that did the Iron Giant, because it was very similar style. Yeah. There was two things that I remembered that were like a big thing in the film. One was like the old guy being like, "That makes me want to do the robot dance," and then he does a robot dance.
I remember that.
Yeah, everyone remembers that. And then the other one is the bomb diddy 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 bomb bomb and the dance, but it was not good. But you know what? With Adam Sandler, all of his content has lots of heart. Like the base story is there. The guy lost his parents and he said "fuck you" to the world, and he's trying to become a better person. That's the story. But it's also a lot of burping, a lot of farting. Kind of racism,
and early 2000s like South Park humor almost, like bum diddy diddy bum bum.
Yes.
I get you.
I hate myself because the bum diddy bum bum did make me laugh, and I don't know why, because it's just not. It's stupid.
Oh, I tell you what, the two things that are Christmas related that I knew whilst the season is still upon us, before we get going until the new year, is I watched Merry Little Batman on Amazon Prime, which is the new animated film, which stole it from us. They stole that idea that we had, not that we're the only ones who probably ever had it, of Dick, well, it was not Dick Grayson in this case, it's his son Damien, being alone in Wayne Manor, and just like Home Alone, two thieves break in, and then it's a kid in Wayne Manor, obviously trying to defend the house instead of like Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, that's our idea. And they only did it for like 5 minutes and then it carried on. But Rickety Cricket is the voice of the Joker in that movie,
Really?
which is very interesting. And it had heart. Like I gotta say, and like Luke Wilson is Batman, which is an odd choice, and Alfred
Luke
is
Wilson.
yeah, and Alfred's this really old man, like decrepit, saggy old man, which is quite funny. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad, and I was like, okay, some Batman content like in Christmas. So yeah, it's not going to go on my watch list every year, but it was fun. And then also I've read it before, but I've read the Batman the Animated Adventures Christmas specials, which is basically Holiday Nights, the Clayface, the Joker, the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy team up, but it's done in the drawing style by Ty Templeton of the original animated series. So that was really interesting seeing those stories done in that style,
Cool.
which was fun. And I read Batman Noel, which I've read before by Lee Bermejo, and fucking loved reading that again.
I bought you that book, and I read it before I
Here we
gifted it
go.
to you.
Here we
and
go.
I remember you giving it to you, and you're like, "Oh, cool," and
Oh,
then you sold it.
moved back to England and you sold it. You didn't bring it back with you from America. Yes, I know. And then I bought it on digital. So how does that make you feel? I love you, buddy. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, buddy. You got me a nice
Uh,
bottle of scotch and other presents. It was very nice. I got you some Batman Lego and a
Yeah.
hard drive to store all of the Batman the Animated Series content so it doesn't stay lost.
Absolutely. So that's all the time we've got for not just for this week, but for this year. Join us next year where we'll continue talking all things Batman, the animated series. Until then, I've been Alex Robson.
I've been Will Robson.
And remember that we are vengeance, we are the night, we are a podcast. Happy holidays and happy new year. We'll be back in January 2024.
Happy holidays.
Doodles!